I mean, what's happening, everyone? It is the New York Hardcore Chronicles live. Here we are. Good to see everybody out there. It's that kind of a day, huh? It's that kind of a day. Say hello to my little friend. It's like the biggest pineapple I've ever seen in my life. I'm actually going to see my girl in Astoria, Queens after the show. I'm bringing this pineapple. What's happening, everybody around the world? I hope you're well. What's up, Rick? What's up, Joe? All right, Fredericksburg, Texas, represent. Come on now, Texas Silver Rush. Hey, Joe, you got to drop me a line, man. I need to talk to you when you get a chance in the next day or so. Hey, Laura, how are you? Nice to see you at the Heavy Metal Fest in Jersey. What's up, Ray? Come on now. Connecticut, represent. You know, East Germany. All right. My kind of town. Sweden. All right. From Sweden to Queens, right, Dominic? What's up, bro? Leeds, how's everybody doing? Good? Good. You're good. I'm good. We're good. Let's have a good show today. What do you say let's do something different? Let's talk about music today, huh? You know, who cares who's in office? Who cares who's vaccinated and who's not vaccinated? Come on. Let's talk about the tie that binds us together. Music. All right? Where is my latest shows? Hold on. Let's talk about the next bunch of shows coming up. Where are those suckers? Here we go. Oh, I'm sorry. Next 4 shows. All right. Not to be confused with the next 4 shows. Here we go. Next 4 shows, as you know, as we all know. Next episode this Sunday, incredibly, is the 150th episode. Paris Mayhew from Agros and Cro-Mags coming on. Landmark, 150th episode. This is going to be great. A week from today, Handsome. Dick Manitoba from the Dictators. Wednesday, October 13th, Brett from Ignite. And then Sunday, October 17th, to talk about his new book, Frank Bello from Anthrax will be on the show. Frank Bello, nice fellow from Anthrax, coming on the show. So all that's going down. Hamburg, my hometown. Hey, I have good memories of Hamburg. The Docks, remember that club, the Docks in Hamburg? I think it's still there. Hamburg has a great red light district too, the Reeperbahn. Me and Evan Seinfeld had a lot of fun down there back in the day. Yeah, we'll get to all that. Oh wait, let's see that shirt, Drew. Wait, let me put the hold on. Here we go. There you go. Shouting out the women in the pit. Lori Dawn. Yep. There you go. I'm not holding your coat. Nancy Barill's book. What's up, women in the pit? All right. What's up, Fred? What's going on? How's that singer? How's that singer in your band, Fred? Is he behaving these days? How's that nervous guy that sings for your band? Just giving you a hard time. Yeah, it is. It's been more than 150 shows, bro. It's been more because we did all these bonus things and bonus episodes. It's probably been about 155 already. So it's been great. It's been a great run. Yeah. What's up, Hamburg Reeperbahn? Represent. I won't get into details. of what me and this pineapple and my girlfriend are going to do tonight. I also have a bag of lemons. How am I going to do with a bag of lemons, huh? Use your imagination. All right, enough silliness. Let's bring on the hardcore shutterbug. What's up?
When life hands you a bag of lemons.
Hey, you want a couple lemons, bro? I got
Make lemonade.
Bro, I don't even know. Like, I don't know what. It was like an impulse buy. I was like, oh, lemons. What am I gonna do with a dozen lemons?
What's the Led Zeppelin song? You squeeze my lemons.
When you squeeze my lemon, baby, it's bananas.
Wow, you got a whole fruit stand going on there
Listen,
today.
bro. You know.
Oh man. So Hamburg, you know, the Beatles used to do like, you know, that's where they really made their bones, was in Hamburg.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Beatles, man.
Oh man. Hey, happy birthday to Mark Scandato today and Chris Notaro from the Crumbsuckers.
Yo, I want to shout out Vinny Doak.
And Vinny Doak, of course.
Hope you're feeling better, Vinny. We love you, bro. Yeah, it's Drew's Farmer's Market. What do you want? You want a banana? I got a banana. You want a banana?
How much for the banana?
Listen.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Hey, yo, I want to shout out RS72. The book is. I'm sending you the book at the end of October. I got the ducats, brother. So, that said, let's do photo of the day.
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we go. Wrong answers only, please. Photo of the day. Boom. Here we go. Let's get jiggy with it. Photo of the day.
I know those guys.
Yeah, here we go. It's not what you think.
That's right.
Right. Is it Sub-Zero? Is it Lenny and Squiggy?
Hello.
Hello. Where was Laverne show? That was Milwaukee, right?
Yes, because they worked at the brewery.
Schlemazel, and all that. That was Milwaukee. Is it Civil Disobedience? Could be. Very well could be. Is it Joni and Chachi? Is it Woody Harrelson? Good one. Is it the gluten-free motherfuckers?
It's Scalpel.
Scalpel. There's a band. We took them off the list because there's a band called Scalpel.
Oh, that's right.
Right. Who's beeping the horn over there?
I got people.
I got people too.
I got people beeping.
Is it New Kids on the Block? Is it Bad Brains? You know what? Here's a clue. Is it Bad Brains? Is it Spud Monsters?
Oh. It's Spud Brains.
Those are two big clues. Because this guy seems to be playing guitar. So it might not be what you think.
Boom.
Is it Clogged Artery? Is it Jimmy and Billy Carter? Scotty. Yep. Hey, what's up, G-Man? What's happening, G-Man? Close, Gary. I even know this. It is not blood clot, right? Let's do one more, right?
Yep.
It is. You're getting warmer. You're getting warmer. Now this one, I found this one interesting, and let's. All right. Okay. Is it Abbott and Costello? Is it the Quarrelers? That's good.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
I like that name.
Is it Kiss? No, not even close. All right, tell us what this is.
Well, you came as close as you possibly could.
Or wait, let's see. Wait. Yeah, someone got it right, I think.
Wait, did someone say it?
Is it Cro-Mag's FVK?
Well, yeah. I mean, yes. This was billed as the Fearless Vampire Killers, and this is 2006. This was when Rancid did a 5-night stretch at BB King's, and every night they had a few different luminaries from around our area. And this particular night was Rancid, H2O, Fearless Vampire Killers. And yeah, I mean, the young Scott Roberts, this is 2006 here, so I can't remember who's playing bass, but
yeah, so this is this is a question that I have.
Somebody out there will know.
Yeah, hold on. Let me find the picture again. The question for you, general audience. This is FVK. We've determined that, of course, John Joseph's singing, Scott Roberts is playing guitar, AJ's playing guitar. Mackie's playing drums.
Yep.
But can't figure out who's playing bass. They're playing a Fender Squire. I see a tattoo on that arm. Who was playing bass? Anybody? Who would that be?
Yeah, I mean, it was basically
Could that be Craig Sitari?
No.
No.
No, I sent you a shot of...
Franklin who? You sent me a shot what?
I sent you a shot of the bass player.
No, you didn't.
I didn't? Maybe I didn't. Okay. Oh, what did I send you, AJ?
You sent me AJ, yeah.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Oh, Mike DeJean, maybe?
I know Mike DeJean for sure.
Yeah.
But
interesting. Who's playing that Squire bass with FBK?
I'm gonna have to look into the rest of the shots from that night.
Yeah.
But this was a great. I mean, basically, this became what that era of the Cro-Mags was between because Scott was also in Blood Clot with him.
Yeah.
But John and Mackie and AJ was pretty much the Cro-Mags for quite some time. So.
Yep.
But
all right.
That was a great period. That was when every year Rancid would do 5 nights at Irving Plaza or 5 nights at BB King's, or and they always picked good people. Danny Diablo opened up one night, and but that was a great show. I really enjoyed BB King's as a club. I saw Motorhead there.
I saw a couple great shows there,
and it was loud as hell.
All right, hey. You know what time it is?
I think I do.
Ready?
Hey.
Bones.
What's going on, everybody?
How are you, bro?
I'm great, man. I'm glad you kept Steven because I'm just going to jump right into it. Let's just do it today, all right?
Let's just do it, man.
There's slim pickings at the flea market, but I go every weekend, and I scored some really cool picture discs this weekend. I don't really know this band, but I hear a lot of people talk about them, the Unsane, Body Bomb. For $2, man, picture discs, pretty cool, And this one I really dig is Udo Shanker with Raven. I mean, Udo from
Accept.
Pretty cool. I like him. $2, picture disc, but this one was cool. This is what made me look, I just
there you go.
I got 3 for $5, but that's the money shot on that one, you can date it, Peace of Mind tour, right? Pretty cool. And that being said, I really couldn't go on if I don't give some praise to this record. And I got 2 collectibles today, but I'm not stealing Sid Shine. But if you ain't listening to this record right now, the new Iron Maiden is incredible, bro. I'm just going to show it off real quick. These are the insert sleeves, the 3 record discs.
Look how glossy that is.
Beautiful artwork.
I'm blind.
No, you can see it, right? I'll tilt
open up the gatefold.
Oh, I'm saving the gatefold, buddy. Hold on.
Okay.
These are the
Look
3
at that. Look at that.
Super cool artwork. I mean, Eddie has evolved, But this gateway, of course, we saved the best for last with stuff around here. But this gateway is, this is what rock and roll should be. You sit, you put your record on. Man, look at that thing, bro. $60, but I say money well spent. I love this record. It's an instant classic. If you love Maiden, I dropped this one because Paris is coming on. We didn't want to have no problems with Paris.
Yeah, bro. He hates Iron Maiden, man.
He hates Iron Maiden.
I may challenge him. I may ask him a question, but I'll leave the guy alone. I have a lot of respect for Paris. But that's what makes it all more intriguing, why I want to know what it is,
How do you hate Iron Maiden?
I scored a couple more things in the flea market this weekend. I'm just going to show them really quick. This is super cool. Luke Skywalker Star Wars puzzle 500 piece. It was pretty cool. It was already built. It's in 4 sections in the box. They're easily assembled, That was cool. $5 for that. And then this is the cool piece of the week, man. This one, I know everyone's going to appreciate this one, man. If you're from New York,
Oh, look at that.
the Welcome Back Cotter color forms, you know? Super cool.
That's cool.
I paid $5 for it. I would probably sell it for 20. You know, it's all there. The little pieces.
Wow, that's nice, man.
Walk down memory lane.
It's all there?
There's like 2 arms and a leg missing, but basically it's all there.
2 arms and a leg missing.
Yeah.
Hey, anybody out there know who sang the theme for Welcome Back, Cotter?
I do.
Welcome back.
I do.
Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back. The names were the same since you hung about. Anybody know who sang the
I was watching it.
Come on, let's see. No, it wasn't the Swans. It wasn't the Swans. Who sang? And don't look it up, you friggin' bums. It wasn't Travolta. Yes, it was John Sebastian from The Loving Spoonful.
Nice.
Yep.
I still have the 45.
That was like a huge hit for him, and that thing was like a total. It was like some hidden track on some dead record, and they put it on that show, and they it blew up for him.
So that song actually was out before the show.
Hey, up your nose with a rubber hose. Hey,
Mr. Carter.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys, I got one last thing for you guys. I'm actually glad Steven's along for the ride this time.
What you got?
Migo just released these, and these are super cool to collectors because they never had this one when we were kids. The Caesar
look at that.
Land Ape, it's called. It's called the Caesar Land Ape, but it's Caesar from Conquest of the Planet of the Apes.
Nice.
So he's super cool. Look at the
jumpsuit.
Face, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I got this weekend, and then the ultimate. And I hope my man Matthew.
Ape shall not kill ape.
I'm going to throw that Matthew away too from Dark Side if he's watching, because it wouldn't be right.
Oh, look at that! Nice.
If I didn't.
Oh my God, he's opening it.
Open up the card, Collectors hate that, but I don't mind. But look at that. We never had him as a kid. He was purple and tan. And he didn't have metal on his outfit. So super cool, man.
That's Ursus?
Yeah, that's Ursus.
Not to be confused with Urko.
That's right.
That's right.
Urko was on the TV show.
He was the same mold. I mean, when they put it out.
Eddie Medina, what's up, bro? We're heading out west soon, man. Hope to see you out west. Yeah.
So that's the collectibles of the day, guy. It's been a little while. It takes me time to accumulate some stuff. But yeah. Can't wait for the show today. 247 Spyz, coolest band. They were always a good time. I think I've seen them at City Gardens in Trenton. So definitely looking forward to the show today, and hope to see everybody soon. Oh, Drew, you know what? Could you drop that flyer? I got a little pop-up coming up.
Yeah. Here you go. What's going on here? Be quick, man. Here, what's happening?
All right, so everyone, I want you to come on down. I'm having a blowout sale. Obviously, I have so much stuff, I just can't have it all anymore. I just want to give it away. It's going to be a blowout sale, October 16th.
Come buy my crap.
Just come get it, man, please. I mean, my pitware is going to be for sale $5 a shirt that day. It's it's a huge street event where all 9 buildings in my development do a big yard sale. They close down 26th Street in between 8th and 9th Avenue from 10 a.m. to 4:30, and it's going to be a great day. So I hope, I'm going to have a big setup. I'm going to have the radio out there. Come by, check me out.
And Drew will be selling fruit.
Yeah, bro.
All right. I'll see you guys later.
See you guys.
Peace out, everyone.
Ragbone! 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 Ragbone!
The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. Now I understand what this is used for. I saw it in The Exorcist. Anyway, If you just tuned in, this is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, and we are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Chacho's Tacos, and since 1992, Generation Records has been a mainstay in the New York metropolitan area music scene. Today, they offer a diverse selection of new and used rock, indie, hip-hop, punk, hardcore, metal, blues, soundtrack, and, believe it or not, reggae LPs, as well as T-shirts, posters, and other merchandise. They buy used record collections and music memorabilia and will pay you top dollar for them. Get that crap out of your house. You don't got to live like Rat Bones with a bunch of crap in your house. Get out there and sell it to Generation Records. House calls made for large collections in the tri-state area. Call or email generationrecords@gmail.com, or follow them on Facebook or on Instagram. Also, come on now while we're at it, Chacho's Tacos, located in Corpus Christi, Texas, opened their doors in 2001, home of the almighty Chacho's Taco. They cook up an incredible home-style Tex-Mex food, and this month they're celebrating the 20th anniversary. They've been supporting underground music since the beginning, and in their own words, we ain't stopping anytime soon. Touring bands that play Corpus Christi, swing by and get a home-cooked meal at Chacho's Tacos. We got you. The underground scene will never die, ever. Please follow us on Facebook or on Instagram. That said, come on, let's bring our guest on. Here we go. Make sure everybody's behaving themselves. There's no interlopers in the chat room. Are there any interlopers out there today? I don't have any patience for any interlopers. You know, sounds like a Jewish priest. The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. Yes. What else? All right, everybody seems okay. Rick to life or no other weirdos have infiltrated. So here we go. Let's clean the deck. Let's clear the deck. What the heck? Let's bring on today's guest. Here we go. Today's guest is an American guitarist, singer-songwriter hailing from the South Bronx in New York City. He is the founder of the hard rock, heavy metal, funk metal, rap metal band 24/7 Spyz. Please welcome, coming at us from the cubbyhole in Fort Lee, New Jersey, Mr. Jimi Hazel.
Slam!
Come on, bro.
What's up?
What's up, brother?
What's good, Drew?
Okay. Come on, let's have some laughs today, huh?
Oh, dude, it's all laughs. We here. That's what's up.
Yeah. You know what? I think you're the closest guest that I've ever had on the show, because I'm on the Upper West Side,
Right.
and you're doing this right over the bridge in Fort Lee. This is like I could actually almost yell out the window to you, right?
We should do that.
Yo!
We're brothers.
Yo,
Drew!
Yeah. Well, there's people are excited that you're coming on the show, man. So thank you. You know,
thank the people. Thank you.
Yo, Gary Sullivan, Jimmy,
T-Man.
Team Bronx.
That's right.
Co-op City.
We rep.
Section 5 for life.
That's what's up.
All right, man. That's cool. Good. Hey, so tell us, what's the latest? What's going on? Since the zombie apocalypse hit, how did that shake things up?
How didn't it shake things up? It put a monkey wrench in all our shit. Can I say shit?
Yeah, sure.
It put a monkey wrench in all our shit. Everything stopped. The world stopped. So touring stopped. We had a tour lined up that was going to literally have us moving from April of last year to December of last year, and it got canceled. A whole lot of reassessing, trying to figure out how to move forward, but also doing good things with the downtime. That was the most.
And this was a Spyz tour, correct?
Yeah. We'd finally decided to make a record after not making one for a couple of years, and we put together a new lineup of the band at that particular point. We had Fish from Fishbone on drums. Ronnie Drayton had joined us on guitar. And we had a whole bunch of people join us in the making of the record, but we had turned the band into a 5-piece because we also brought Tony Lewis back in to play drums as well. So we were going to take it and finally go back on tour in America, which we had not done in a good number of years. We play like one-offs here and there, but we go to Europe, but we hadn't toured in the States for a long time. So we were finally gonna go. And COVID said, y'all ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. So there you go. Tell us, how did you come up? Where were you raised? Did you grow up in a musical household?
Yeah. I think I had probably the coolest parents on the planet, who played everything and anything under the sun. Like my dad was like a traditionalist. He liked like Joe Williams and Arthur Prysock, Johnny Hartman. My mom was like cool. She loved Richie Havens, Fifth Dimension, you know, all of that kind of stuff. My brother was the one who turned me on to the coolest shit on the planet. He was the one that took me to see Hendrix. That's how I got to meet Hendrix when I was 6 years old.
6 years old, you met Jimi Hendrix?
Yeah.
Tell us about that, man.
Jimmy was playing across the bridge from where I grew up at. I grew up in Mitchell Projects, 138th Street, Willis Avenue.
Oh boy, come on now.
South Bronx. So right across the bridge is Randall's Island. And
Right.
There was a 2-day festival called the New York Pop Festival. And Jimmy was playing and the night.
Yeah,
Jimmy
New York. Yeah, it was on Randall's Island. Legendary show.
Yeah, July 17th,
Legendary
1970.
show.
So
Right.
my brother and a bunch of the other teenagers were going, and my brother had to babysit me. He was 8 years older than me. So it was like, guess where we're going? I say nothing. I'm 6. I can't say shit.
I'm just along for the ride.
I go where you tell me to go. I do. So we all walked across the bridge to Randall's Island, and
Wow.
made our way around to where the trailers were. Because you know the beautiful thing is kids have no fear.
Yeah.
They're
That's
like,
the good news and the bad news.
yeah, seriously. They're like, yeah, let's go see what's over there. And we wound up
Yeah.
by the trailers, which were the dressing rooms. And after standing around for about 20 some odd minutes, Jimmy comes out and they all rush up to him, and talking to him and whatnot. And he realizes that I'm like the youngest, the little kid. And he's like, who's this kid? My brother's like, that's my brother. You know, so
Wow.
he reaches down, shakes my hand. I'm looking at him because I'd seen him before because my brother had all of the albums.
Sure.
So I'm like, wow, okay, you know, cool. Mr. Hendrix. Yeah.
So why did you gravitate? Why get? I mean, it's kind of obvious, but why guitar? what is that? Is that what paid? Is that? Let me get this straight. You saw Jimi Hendrix on stage, and then you wanted to play guitar.
No, actually, Wes Montgomery was the thing that actually started me wanting to play guitar.
Is that right?
Yeah, dude. When when my brother brought All You Experienced in the house,
Man.
first the album cover just freaked me out because it just looked like the fish islands, the colors and all that. I'm like, but hearing Third Stone from the Sun come through the speakers literally scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Like I wanted no parts of that. But the rest of the album was cool. By the time we get to Axis Bold as Love, it was like, ooh, now this is something I can get into.
Yeah, huh?
Electric Ladyland shows up. It's like, my God, this is the same dude. So me wanting to play, yeah, literally seeing him and meeting him was the catalyst for me deciding I wanted to play, because I did ask my parents for a football for my birthday, and I saw Jimmy, and I was like, I want a guitar for my birthday. They were like, but you wanted a football. I want a guitar. I said that shit over and over and over and over again. I got my first guitar September 3rd, 1970, and Jimmy died the 18th, same year. So it was like, it was deep, crazy. Wow.
So you start playing guitar, and what were your early guitar? What resonated with you? What guitar players really spoke to you?
My first, well, I had a Mount Rushmore of guitar players.
Uh-huh.
So I like to say my formative years, and it literally starts. It's Jimi Hendrix, Eddie Hazel,
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Martinez,
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie Drayton.
Wow.
And that is literally from, you know, I'll just say from 70 to 74, 73-ish. Those 4 dudes literally just shaped my everything, because Eddie Hazel comes into play after Jimmy passes.
Right.
And when I first heard Funkadelic, I thought Jimmy was back from the grave or some shit, because Eddie was just on some other shit.
Yeah, Funkadelic was, yeah.
By the time I get to Eddie Martinez, he's playing in his first band called Mother Night. And I was like, oh my God, you know, once again, there's that thing. And then the next piece was Ronnie Drayton, who was on an album called Supernatural by a cat named Edwin Birdsong. And Ronnie's playing was just period, you know.
So Ronnie Drayton was a huge influence on your playing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's a whole host of other people. I mean, probably one of my biggest influences, you know, which people don't get, but some people do, is Todd Rundgren.
Woo, come on. All right.
Seriously.
Didn't see that coming.
Hey, a lot of people didn't see that.
Hello, it's me.
Dude, one of the first 45.
I thought about, yo.
Sing it, Drew, sing it. Sing that shit.
I thought about us for a long, long time. Come on, man. Till I saw the light in your eye.
When you pull out the pineapple tonight, play that shit. You pull out the pineapple tonight.
Listen, Todd Rundgren's done a lot of great work. I mean, that's talk about what a career. But yeah, okay. What? All right.
A lot of kids.
I got it. And also, like, I mean, I grew up. I did some growing up in the Bronx as well. I went to Kennedy High School. Where'd you go to high school?
Theodore Roosevelt.
You know what's funny, bro? We both went to high school in the Bronx, and like I went to Kennedy. Like, what's it with the like? I went to the school named after the white president. You went to the other school named after the white president. You know, like Roosevelt, Kennedy.
We had no schools named after black anything.
No, it was like you went to Theodore Roosevelt.
Theodore Roosevelt. You couldn't even hip that shit up. Yeah, I went to
right. Yeah,
I went to Teddy R. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that dude was like, come on now.
The best thing about going to Roosevelt, though, literally, was White Castle was up the block. Crazy Eddie's was down the block, and in between was like a couple of stores. So me and my crew, my childhood boys, we all grew up together. A bunch of us wound up going to high school, and we had a band and we had a DJ crew. So we would all go, check in, go to White Castle, grab some 40s, go buy some records, go back down to my house and make beat tapes.
Yeah. Hey, let me address this real quick. David asks about your solo album. Hey, David, we're going to do questions. We're going to address all this stuff. We're going to chop it up for an hour, and then we're going to come back. So hold on to your questions. We're going to talk about all this stuff. So don't get you. So calm down,
David.
Yeah. So what brought you to starting your first band, and who'd you start it with? I mean, what pre-Spyz? Like, who did you fall in with?
Pre-Spyz. My first real band was a band called Hot Ice. See, all black dudes in the projects had bands. You know, like this is the 70s, so it's like
all black dudes in the projects had rock bands.
Dude, see, this is the thing.
Come on now,
dude. Let me tell you something. Most people tend to forget black music, black art. Period. The 70s literally was such a melding pot of musical everything.
Yo, absolutely. And I've mentioned this on the show before. Now, I grew up, I was a teenager in another part of the Bronx. I was in like Kingsbridge, Spite, so. But you know what was really big when I was growing up? What? Southern rock, and all black dudes, Puerto Rican dudes, like whole like Kennedy High School. Yo, it was like Southern rock.
I heard more Skinner, more Foghat, more come on, all of a sudden I can't say, can't you see?
Marshall Tucker Band.
Thank you.
What that woman
has done to me, you know.
So, which is the same exact chords as Sweet Home Alabama.
Dude, it's like the book is the book is the book. But
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I always found that really interesting that like I had like straight up like Hispanic friends from Puerto Rico, whatever, and black friends, and loved Southern rock, man.
Dude, the beautiful thing about the South Bronx when I was growing up in particular was that we had a little bit of everything in the neighborhood. There was no separation between anybody. It was like you're either in or you're not. And if you were in, it was all good.
I agree with that. I agree with that too, man. Like growing up in that era, because you and me are the same age.
Yeah,
exactly. And so growing up in that era, like,
dude, I had
Yeah,
friends of all national, black, white, Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
That was the neighborhood. That was the neighborhood.
Hey, I have a memory. I have a memory of when I was going to Kennedy High School, and they would send. There was like a city bus that would come down, and there was 2 city buses, and they would fill the kids up, and they would. I guess they would go on the route, and sometimes I would get on the bus when I didn't want to walk or whatever. And I have this vivid memory of got to be, I don't know, whatever the year was, and when everybody was carrying boom boxes. Right, everybody, like everybody would bring boom boxes, right? So you have everybody on this bus. You probably have about 30 boom boxes, and the call goes out to like everybody tune in to what it was back then. Maybe it was what was it?
Whatever
Kiss
the station
FM,
was.
Kiss FM, or what was it? The other one.
We had 92 KTU.
Yeah, KTU. Thank you. It was KTU, and everyone dials into KTU. And I'll never forget this. That the what do you call it? A hip, a hop, a hibba.
Rappers Delight.
Rappers Delight. All 30 boom boxes
playing the same.
Everybody on the bus, the white boys, the Irish, the Irish kids, the black, everybody, and like that was just how music bound us together back then. And there was no, we loved it, man. It was great.
That's also the same thing. Like we learned about, like the beautiful thing about the projects was that each project had a band.
Is that right?
Just about, because the one thing is everybody got Christmas came and people got instruments.
Right.
So all of a sudden it was like, oh man, what did you get? Oh, I got a guitar. I got a bass. You got, let's put a band together. Next thing you know, there's bands at each project. And while some of the bands got really, really good, we got to witness some of the best bands literally between where my project and Rick's project, which was Millbrook Projects.
What is it called?
He grew up in Millbrook.
Millbrook. Right.
Millbrook. So he had a band called Stone Soul in his project, and I had the Seventh Galaxy in mine. And these 2 bands literally they are literally like kind of like the reason why we wound up playing.
Got to shout out Ryan Bland from Ake, man. ESG from the Bronx. What's up?
You know that. Word up. You know that. ESG don't get enough props. Those girls, those women, forgive me.
Right.
Seriously.
That's great.
Thank you.
So I know we're skipping. I know we're skipping a little bit here. And this is a photo of you from 1985. I love this photo, man. It's going on right here, brother. Come on now. It's going on. And wait, is that the Fernandez guitar?
Dude, that was a pre-lawsuit 62 Fernandez. You know how much money this shit was worth? Oh God, dude.
Wow.
So okay, so let's just talk about this period right here.
Please.
This is pre-Spyz. This is
please.
This is pre-Spyz. You ain't got to blow the shit up. You can make it small. So upstate Rick said I was channeling my inner Prince. No, let me tell you what it is. It wasn't Prince. It was Little Richard. I was a huge Little Richard fan.
Is that right?
Yes, Little Richard and another cat named Escarita had like the most bomb-ass pompadours. No joke, no bullshit. Escarita, Squerita. Dude's hair was a mile high. And as a matter of fact, he was the one that hit Little Richard to the pompadour. Let's just make that real plain. But when I decided to go that route, that was my impetus. It was Little Richard and Escarita. It wasn't Prince. The whole ruffles and shit, I was a Hendrix freak. So it's like I'm still a hippie. So I like the Baroque, that kind of shit.
There you go. Jimmy and the
Revolution. Fuck you, Spaghetti Lee. Hey. No, but it was, the coolest thing about that too was that I had girls, thank God, in my building who would do my hair. Because to get your hair like that, you literally had to like hot comb it, pink curlers, pimp shit, wrap it up with a silk scarf.
Right. That's the real Little Richard shit. You see pictures of him wearing that scarf. Yeah.
Exactly. So that was it. Yep. Yeah. Little Richard truly was, dude.
Chucky Brown says Jimmy was the only one on 138th and Willis Ave Mitchell projects looking like that.
You must know me then. Because word up. It's just like when me and Rick finally met, my bass player. everybody called me the captain because I used to wear a captain's hat, and everybody called him Cameo because he had a high top fade. And everybody was saying to him, yo, do you know the captain? He plays guitar. And he was like, no. And dudes would say to me, yo, you know Cameo? I was like, the band? Like, no, the bass player. I was like, I don't know no bass players named Cameo and shit. But when me and Rick finally met, it was like, oh, that's Cameo. He's like, that's the captain.
Got it. Hey, I got a little Richard tie in here. I just dug up the picture. A little while ago, I was in line to direct a rockabilly documentary, and I was involved with one of the guys from the Stray Cats, and it started rolling, and then they did a Stray Cats reunion, and we all got involved in other stuff. But one of the guys that we interviewed was this guy here. This is Charlie Connor, who played
Connors, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy that played drums on "I Hear You Knockin'" and all that. And boy, talk about rock and roll royalty. This was
for real.
This was a real honor to interact with him for the afternoon and do the interview. It was really great, man. It was really
that's
great.
Just like, I got to meet. We met Little Richard. We went on a flight in 1991. No, 1990. We were on a flight, and he was up in first class, and of course we were in the cheap seats. But we saw him come on. I was like, yo, it's Little Richard. Me and Rick was like, yo, we got to get up there to meet him and shit. So the stewardesses were real cool with us. They were like, you want to come up front? We was like, can we come up front? I said, look, we can lie. Tell them that the bathroom is occupied in the back. I really got to go. And they let us go up front. And we got up front and, approached him. And he was cool, man. He was like, so what are y'all young brothers doing? And we were like, we're in a band. Really? We're like, yes, sir. I said, you're the reason why I had my hair in the pompadour. Well, honey, let me tell you something. It ain't easy being this pretty. And I was like, I know I was pretty too. But at this point, I had dreadlocks and shit, So he was cool, man. He let us sit. We sat and talked with him for about maybe 15 minutes. And then the funniest thing was, he goes, I got something for y'all. And I'm like, because I got ready to ask for his autograph.
Right.
Dude, he reaches into his bag and he pulls out these prefab 5x7 pre-autograph photos. I was like, thank you. I still have it to this day.
That's like, who does that too? Jerry Only from the Misfits.
Dude, that is. I don't want to say that's just some tacky shit, but that's just some tacky shit, man.
That's just kind of corny.
Word.
So one thing. So Spyz comes together. I'm trying to move things along a little bit, but one thing is that you guys would hang. I'd see you guys down at the matinees, right? You guys would come. You guys hung out at a lot of the hardcore matinees and played a bunch of hardcore matinees, right?
Yes.
Tell us about what that was like, and you had to be a little fearless to come down into that scene, right?
No, it was so how that whole thing kind of came about was even when we started the band. The whole purpose of putting Spyz together initially was because we didn't dig the music that was happening. Black music at that point had become so synthesized. It was the advent of drum machine, Prophet synths, and no real instrumentation. We call it the Coke period because everything was like big gated drums. And we were just like, what happened to all the bands? Yeah. So we started Spyz out of frustration and not hearing what we wanted to hear musically. And the first thing that we also understood was that if we're going to do this, there's no place to do it in the Bronx. You had to go downtown. Yeah. And, the coolest thing about the downtown scene at that point was there were lots of places that had I won't even say like jam nights or open mic nights, but like our first real show wasn't a show. We all went down to Kenny's Castaways on jam night, and they had a sheet, and you had to sign up on the sheet, put down what instrument you played, and they would pick people at random and put them together, which could have been a good thing, which could have been a bad thing. In our case, we got called up in the order in which we signed on the sheet, which was me, Pete Fluid, Rick Skater, and our first drummer, Ken Do Fives, and we got up on stage, and we proceeded to play, and they were like
at good old Kenny's Castaways, huh?
Kenny's Castaways. So from Kenny's Castaways, how CBGB's came into play was we also, the Village Voice was the Bible. at that point. So it was kind of like, you always look to see who's playing where. And we would go see everybody. And on this one particular day, we went down to a hardcore matinee show. We come from the South Bronx. We don't give two shits about nothing. There's no fear about anything. It's like we just go where we go, because we can. And we got down there, and it was just like, I think the first person I encountered was Rabies. Wow. Beautiful cat. And he was like, "Oh, yo, what you brothers is looking for?" He's like, "Nothing. We came to see the show. Well, come on in. You know what I'm saying? That's $5. $5. So,
right.
And we're just checking it all out because this is new to us.
Right.
But we're just watching how the aggression is playing out and how everybody's getting on and whatnot. And the thing that surprised us most was that when the band stopped playing and the changeover happened, they throw Public Enemy on over the PA or KRS-One. It was always some form of hip hop. And we were like, this is interesting because there were maybe 3 black dudes in there. Yeah. But the crew, the vibe was the vibe. It was like, it wasn't about who's what's what. It's like, we here.
Well, at least, I mean, you'd think you'd walk into that and be like, yo, this is crazy white boy shit,
Nah.
Music, but
dude, yeah. Not at all. It was, we got it real quick and we connected with Murphy's Law.
Right.
Shout out to Jimi. Mm-hmm. Seriously. We connected with them. Todd. Wow.
Sure.
Chuck. God. Lord.
Yeah.
Todd gone. Dougie Beans. And we just got really tight and we started playing shows. And once that started, everything else kind of fell into place. And the next thing you know, we were doing more matinees. We actually were in the Black Rock Coalition for a hot minute. Mm-hmm. And we played CBGBs there with the Black Rock Coalition. And it was interesting because we also saw just how different it was playing a BRC gig, as opposed to playing a hardcore matinee gig. Sure. And it was like the one thing we always like, how come when you go to the BRC gig, there's tables and chairs? You go to the hardcore matinee, ain't nothing but space. Yeah. We're like, I want to play at shows where there's nothing but space. I don't want people sitting there doing this, Yeah. And so, that started that, and that helped spark what happened with us moving forward, with Howie Abrams, Steve Martin, and the whole In Effect thing moving forward. And it led to that, the first album.
Right. So that said, I want to bring a friend of ours on. Sure. And a little bit of a surprise. He's been on the show before. Mr. Howie Abrams, what's happening?
My brother, what up, dude?
I'm happy to be with you two fine black men today.
Hey, Drew is black,
Yeah, of course.
He went to fucking Kennedy High School. He black, man. Fuck that.
It's funny, we got Paris coming on the show when we used to do the music videos like Onyx and everything. When I would talk on the phone, more than once they beat me go, I thought you were black.
Well, dude, no offense. Drew Stone sound like, that's my motherfucking man, Drew Stone. You know what I'm saying?
Let's talk a little bit about this. Howie, you're over at In Effect. You're an A&R guy. How did these guys come into your orbit, and how did they inspire you?
Well, I mean, like what Jimmy was just saying, I mean, these guys were just playing shows, They were playing matinees. They were playing City Gardens. They were playing the Sundance out in Long Island. And so you started to see their name on bills, but also there was chatter, because they sort of popped up in what seemed like out of nowhere and started making a lot of noise, and people started to really recognize them. And the one thing that I really remember as far as like someone discussing the band with us was a guy named Eric Wielander. And he had a zine called The Village Noise. And so there was a couple of Queens zines at the time. So it was a Village Noise. Chris Wynn had In Effect, ironically, around the same time. There was a couple of others. Chris Bunkley had Yes Sister, which had a whole graffiti thing to it too. So those guys had, I think, just seen Spyz at Sundance. And I don't remember which show. It was probably like the first time you guys played Sundance. So I don't remember if it was like a hardcore show, and eventually later I think you played there with the Chili Peppers and
the first one was a hardcore show.
Yeah, so they were talking to me and Steve, you know, so Steve and I were kind of just like, you know, we were in the midst of doing what we were doing at the time with putting out the AF record and like all that stuff. And so we knew about Spyz, but we hadn't seen them yet. And so I think it was Eric Wieslander who was like, you have to go see them. Like they're as good as people are saying, like you got to go see it. Wow. So I'm trying to remember what the very first time I saw you guys was, if it was CB's or if it was at the Ritz, like you opened for someone, maybe it was Fishbone, like that first Fishbone show.
It might've been the Ritz
that I saw. And I was, you know, I had like that holy shit moment, you know, and 89 was a weird time for hardcore because like that next wave started taking off. So you had like the Sick of It Alls and the Raw Deals, like the bands that were putting out their first records around that time. And then the older guard was either kind of dying off or breaking up or whatever they were doing. So it was an interesting time. And then also you had a lot of what was coming out of California. So you had the Chili Peppers were popular now. Jane's was popular now. Fishbone was as big as ever. 88, you know.
Untouchables.
Untouchables, right? They all used to play shows together, you know. There were a couple others, either like, you know, Thelonious Monster was supposed to be a big band. Like they'd come east with all those bands, and all those bands would play together. So the first time I saw Fishbone, it was opening for the Chili Peppers, you know, like they came together. And Spyz felt like they were the New York entry into that world for me, you know, like it was a lot of different flavors. They weren't hardcore, but like those bands I mentioned, it came from like a punk place, you know, so Flea played in Fear, you know, and Fishbone played punk and hardcore shows and things like that. And so Spyz felt like, you know, they weren't really a hardcore band, but the energy was the same as hardcore. So
they had some of the hardcore ethos.
They had a lot of that, and just sort of this.
The DIY thing, I think, was also something we all shared. It was kind of like everybody was doing shit for themselves.
But it was also the like, there was that, but it was also the like before your show, after your show with 3 other bands, you were just hanging out. You know, there was no like hanging out backstage, not talking to anybody. And
it was in the crowd with the people.
So it had that feel to it. So people were not only getting to know Spyz, they were getting to know specifically very much Jimi and Rick. And you know, that was a big part of hardcore because every other band did the same thing. Because it was not this rock star thing about it. And so they had that.
People powered.
They had that, but then when they got on stage, you knew they were different.
And you told me, Howie, that you know, Peter was just a really incredible front man at that time. Also,
let me just clear this up real quick. So the thing about Peter, which I think, you know, and I say this, Spyz would not have happened if Peter and I had not connected. We formed the band, and I knew Peter from his band prior. We were in bands that weren't rival bands, but my old band's horn section went to his band, which automatically made me not like my friends. But somehow, some way we connect, and I thought Peter was an asshole. Because he was just, he had an ego when there was no reason to have an ego. But that was part of his charm.
Yes.
And after that, I spanked him on bass, I spanked him on guitar, and I never saw him again. I bumped into him literally like 4 years later in the Village. By this time, like, our hair is standing straight up. We don't look like the Jerry Curl, you know, slick brothers no more. And he's like, what are you into? I'm like, oh, I'm writing some stuff. He's like, me too. He's like, let's talk. And we talked. And a Reese's peanut butter cup happened out of those conversations. Like, who put chocolate in the peanut butter type shit. His ideas, my ideas, and that literally formed the insanity that turned into Spyz. So I needed him as much as he needed me. And it was interesting because he was a guitar player at that point, not singing as a front man, but he was uncomfortable holding a guitar and singing. It was almost like he needed to be free. And the best thing and the worst thing that could ever happen was he put the guitar down and he became just the singer. because that literally brought Jekyll and Hyde. He became. He was definitely a weird mixture of Angelo and HR.
Yeah.
Now, how are you? This first record, this did fairly well. This sold 300,000 units. Was that? I mean, and also, I correct me if I'm wrong, but the Jungle Boogie music video really pushed that forward, right?
Was a very, very big deal. And
Yeah.
So the album. I mean, listen, we knew why we signed the band. I mean, that was obvious. So, but there's always that, like,
You don't know what's going to happen.
What's going to happen, right? Like, I wonder what's going to happen here,
For
and
real.
we went for it. Like, we definitely went for it. Like, we were expecting big things, but you still never know what's really going to happen.
Right.
And so very quickly it started to happen. And, the cool thing is, the hardcore scene embraced it immediately. So all these people that had seen them, prior for a couple of years, like, they bought it immediately.
Yeah.
But then you started to get like the college radio people and the people who saw them at college gigs, and it all, there's a whole genesis of how that came together, like as far as their agent, Jimmy told me the story where their agent Jonathan Levine was at William Morris, and guys got onto a Fishbone show without anybody's help, and he was sort of like, how the hell did you get on the show? And so they were like, well, we just knew people at the Ritz and whatever. So they got on the show, and he's like, well, I could put you on some more Fishbone shows, but I have to be your agent.
And I can pay you. That was
and I can pay you. Right? So,
Jonathan said, how much did y'all get for the night? We were like, nothing. You didn't get paid? We were like, no. He goes, who booked the show? We're like, our friends.
Yeah.
You don't have an agent? No. Got a manager? No. And you got no money. Right. Okay. Why'd you take the show? We said, because we wanted to play with Fishbone.
Right.
Yeah.
And we had met Fishbone like the year prior. But he goes, I'll make you a deal. He goes, I'll tell you what if I get you another gig with Fishbone, 2 more shows with Fishbone at $500 a pop? We were like, that's money. Okay, well, we got it. And it was like, he goes, on one condition. And I was like, oh, dude, here we go with this condition shit. Here we go. He pulled out his card. He goes, I want to be your agent when you get a deal. And we're like, Jonathan Levine, William Morris, that was
wow. We need another Jew in the mix.
Yeah.
God bless the Jews.
Well, here's what's funny about that. I always was wondering, because the name is spelled Levine. So I was always like, but then he said it, and he said Levine, and we're like, oh, self-hater.
I thought it was Levine too. And he said Levine. I was like,
but he said Levine.
So one thing that was very apparent to me then was that you guys did a lot of work out on. You guys did a lot of shows and did a lot of work out on the road. And you guys were out on the road to push Harder Than You, and then the follow-up record Gumbo Millennium. I mean, you guys did a lot of touring. I mean, here's a flyer from, I think this is 89.
This is 89.
Yeah, and here you are playing with Nirvana.
Oh no, let's get it clear. Nirvana opened for us at the Outhouse.
Right. And now is this the Outhouse in the Midwest, in the middle
Lawrence,
of the
Kansas?
Lawrence,
Kansas.
That place is bananas. It was so I'm a
place
short
isn't there anymore, right? That can't be there.
No, it's gone. I'm gonna shorten this story for you though. This is how this went. So we're in the bus, we're driving. Our road manager is telling the driver, follow directions. He's like reading the directions how to get to the place. And our road manager had like this brick Miami Vice telephone. This is the guy, right? So he's telling Rich, the driver, okay, follow this, follow that. We're gonna go off-road into the dirt. And we're like, now the bus is in the dirt. And next thing you know, we're in a cornfield, but there are tire treads through the cornfield. So he's like, just stay on the tire tread. So we're literally driving through the cornfield for about 15 minutes. And then all of a sudden there was this clearing and there was a shed. And we were like, this is the club? And they were like, yeah, this is it. And we were like, this is like some Children of the Corn type shit. But man, that night, I don't know where these kids came from. Dude, they came from everywhere. Everybody was doing poppers. They was doing mushrooms. They was getting blazed, and it was the sick. It was almost like if CBGB showed up in the middle of a fucking cornfield.
That's crazy.
I saw you guys. I saw Primus open for you guys in Madison, Wisconsin.
Yes. Okay. Wasn't that okay? Okay's Corral.
Yes. And it was, like kind of right off the campus, and it's funny because Primus played the Beacon here last night.
I know, and I wish I would have known, because I would have loved to have stuck myself somewhere in there.
Yeah, they played the whole Rush
joint.
Yeah, they play. Yeah, and but, also you guys went out with Jane's Addiction.
Oh yeah, now that was interesting, very interesting. See, so how it works was, so the beautiful thing about 89, 89 was such a pivotal transitional moment musically. So, and I always say the two bands who opened for us in 89 wound up defining what came next, and that was Alice in Chains, Nirvana, and a pre-LAPD band, Korn. So LAPD was Brian's band before Korn. But this is, we're watching what is going to wind up becoming the next big thing at every turn. 1990 was no different.
Well, hold on too. Then 89, like that was your first tour, and you went out to the West Coast for the first time, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I went to the Roxy show in LA.
Oh Lord.
And everybody from No Doubt was there. There was barely a No Doubt. This is pre Gwen.
Right.
This is when they had the male singer, and all of those guys like Tony Cornell, all of those dudes. That was the audience. It was all that like Orange County ska bands and like Bad Brains fans and Fishbone fans, and like so there were people that you didn't even realize in the category that you're describing right now who were also there, but they barely had their bands together yet.
Yeah, and for that matter, it's funny you say Tony Canal, because he showed up at we did a college gig at San Luis Obispo, and he wound up there. Tom Morello wound up at one of these shows. Dude, it just was such a crazy, beautiful time.
Here's you got.
Uh-oh. Hello.
Hold on, he's frozen.
Let's freeze, Howie. Let's freeze.
Yeah.
You guys all right?
Well, yeah, we're good.
Well, we're just kidding.
It happened. It happened.
Freeze.
Freeze. Freeze.
Get higher, baby.
I'm never coming down.
Free base.
So just moving forward to the Gumbo Millennium, which doing a little homework here, I found very interesting that you guys recorded this up at Normandy Sound with Tom Suarez. And we, of course, in the New York hardcore world, connect Normandy Sound with the Leeway Records, the Cro-Mag stuff, and later on Marauder. What brought you guys sick of it all? Thank you. Jimmy, what brought you guys to Normandy?
Two things, Howie, but also Born to Expire, because that album literally was so hard hitting. The tones were absolutely bananas, and it was like, who did this record? And even though I think it said Chris Williamson, but it was Tom Soares who engineered it. It was like, that's the dude we love. And how he goes, ironically, we know Tom, and we're gonna take a trip up to Connecticut. And we went up, and wow, that album got made. And it was interesting because the thing about Gumbo, which people didn't understand, was Harder Than You literally was our live show, and we had been playing it for almost like 2 years. So Harder Than You is the first record the world literally hears from us. Gumbo Millennium sounded like it was 200 years later, like we had grown by leaps and bounds, and people were like, how did this band become so musical? And it was like, we always were, but we didn't go down to the crossroads and sell our souls to the devil and shit. But we've been playing, Spyz, Dope, and Social Plague and Spill My Guts for almost 2 to 3 years. And we didn't start writing Gumbo until we got on the road all that time for Harder Than You. So the music just grew, you know, it did. And it really was, I think, the best meshing of the R&B stuff, the hardcore mentality, and the reggae and ska stuff. We really, that was one of those records that I don't think would have happened if it had not been for the first year of touring all year long.
Yeah, I mean, this was a record that was really out there in that year. I mean, this thing, you couldn't avoid it. You know, it was like just in the New York world or whatever. I mean, everybody had this. And,
well, that's, you know, but that's also, we got to give much props to In Effect. Look, yeah. I will say this to anybody. This is fun. As a matter of fact, so I'm gonna just go back to Kurt Cobain. So the conversation I had with Kurt at the outhouse prior to the show was him asking me how could they possibly get off of Sub Pop, who was doing nothing for Bleach at that time, and wondering how could they wind up at In Effect. Because
come on, I never heard this,
dude. Seriously, I wrote a whole piece about I wrote about the whole conversation. I didn't talk about a lot of stuff with Kurt because after he passed, everybody turned him into this icon of this, that, and the other. And I didn't know him that way. The handful of times we talked and I saw him before and during the huge blow up stuff, it was just like, wow, I felt bad for him because you want success, but you don't want sometimes what it brings. But yeah, the funniest thing was he was like, our label doesn't do anything for us, and your record company's just fucking all your stuff is everywhere. We're like, yeah, we got a great record company. I wasn't gonna tell him, here's my man, call him up. Fuck you. I wasn't turning him on to you. You were my best kept secret. But seriously, yeah, I mean, we had to talk about that. But In Effect, Barry, Howie, Tova, that whole team, everybody, dude, it really was a family. And I've never seen that. I never saw that happen again.
Yeah, basically, it was a much nicer Def Jam fantasy. Is basically what it was. Like Def Jam, you know, had its. The thing is, it was a brand, obviously, Def Jam, and that's something as a label that I loved. Like a lot of people, you know, were into Revelation Records, or they were into Sub Pop, or they were into whatever. But even though, you know, the music I was into hardcore, I was into metal, I'm into everything.
Everything.
It was about that what's the next thing on that label, you know? And so we had that, and I feel like people really appreciated it. And it wasn't hard to go from Agnostic Front to 24/7 Spyz to, you know, to the Scatterbrains, to the Sick of It Alls, to, you know, Raw Deal, whatever, Madball. It didn't matter. The Nuclear Assault, you know, Limbo Maniacs. It was all, it all made sense, you know, and that's the way music was at that time, that like the meshing of styles and all these things and scenes coming together, you know, where bands were playing with different types of bands. It was like maybe the last era that was kind of really happening, you know, where, you know, Murphy's Law would open up for the Chili Peppers. Spyz would open for somebody. It was all over the place. And sometimes you didn't even know what to call these bands as far as genre or style.
Because it wasn't alternative then. It wasn't even, it had no title. It was just music.
Yeah, it was just it. So we just worked hard and you know, people like, well, don't you think blah, blah, blah should be bigger? You know, you hear those types of things and whatever. Yeah. And it's like, listen, we were all kids learning on the job. You know what I mean? Like learning as we went along.
So was the band.
Yeah, right. And all the bands, you know, and so Spyz are no different. And so, you know, when the label was over, I was 21. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. Like when we did this, we were just kids from a music scene who loved freaking music, and that's it. And we learned how to be record label people, you know? And we relied on people who'd been there for years before us to help us do that. And so Steve Martin, he's a writer. So he became a publicist. It made all the sense in the world, you know? It's like I was a music guy in general. So somehow I didn't even know what A&R was when we started this.
But he was an A&R guy.
Right. But I didn't know what that meant, you know? And I figured it out later, you know, because people were like, well, what do you do? I was like, well, I kind of just work on this label, you know, and they're like, oh, do you help sign the bands? I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, so you do A&R? I'm like, okay, I do A&R.
All of a sudden, it's like, here's the guy to
Is
go
that
give
what
you
it is? Is that what it's called?
Right. I was like, yeah, hey,
So-
what does A&R stand for?
We were like,
I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So the hand plays out a little bit. Was it traumatic when Spyz wanted to move on to a major label? How did that shake out? What's your take? What's both of your takes on? Jimmy, you go first on that.
well, we didn't want to leave. Number one, we didn't want to leave.
Uh-huh.
What happened was the very last date of the Jane's Addiction tour, our singer quit on stage. And our
Jeez.
drummer quit, and we had no knowledge that this was happening. This actually happened on stage. You know,
Jesus.
ended up, "No, this is the last night with me as a singer. I'm leaving. But fuck you. This song is called Grandma Dynamite." And we go on. So show's over. I leave. Me and Rick leave. We go back home, and we're like, so what do we do? I said, we keep moving forward. That's the bottom line. We move forward. We don't stop. This doesn't
That's the
stop.
spirit.
Because we'd spent a whole year. The one thing I did learn about our former bandmates in 1990 was I watched people become something I never knew that they were. I watched how things manifested in ways that your worst nightmare came to fruition. And it was like, dude.
Well, you saw it along the way too.
I did, but I kind of hope that you would have, you know, it would have been, you would appreciate what was coming because there was a lot of good stuff. And that would outweigh your own self-destructive mentality, and it didn't. So it self-destructed. We got another singer, we got another drummer. I think at that point we went back out on the road about 4 months later and took the new guys out just to and introduce them literally to people.
That's Jeff singing, right?
Yeah. So we brought Jeff in, we brought Joe Matoza in.
Joe, what you bringing an Italian white dude into the band?
Dude, let me tell you about Joe.
I like how you got. I like how you sort of you. I like the photo shoot here. Like you got that tam on his head.
He put the Rasta hat on. That was Rick's hat.
I was like, it's like he ramped up his game here a little bit. I like.
He did. You know, he had that. Yeah, you know, I'm with you. You know, there's part of me that's down with you people. You know.
Yeah, right.
But let me tell you though, Joel. How Joel comes into the band. Joel played in a band called Gangland, with Spacey T, amazing guitar player, metal band,
right?
And dude's feet were absolutely phenomenal. And I had the demo tape, and I was like, shit. The first person I actually called to replace Anthony Johnson was not Joel; it was Jack Irons.
Oh wow!
Because we had played with the Chili Peppers in '89, but we met them in 86, 87, because the first time we saw them, it was still Hillel and Jack.
Sure. Is Jack Irons the one that's in Pearl Jam for years now? So he's been in Pearl Jam for 30 years now, right?
Yeah, but he sat in on a couple of other bands over the time, but I reached out to him first because he was the first person I would have killed to have step in and play drums. But at that point in time, he was still not ready to play. He was still dealing with Hillel's death.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I'm sorry. He said, I don't even know whether I want to play or not. And I was like, I respected that. I understood that.
Sure.
And I thought about Joel, and I was like, let me reach out to this dude. So I hit him up. I said, I'm going to send you 4 songs. You learn them and whatnot, and we'll see what's up. He called me back in 2 hours and played them over the telephone. I was like, okay.
Yeah, he's on. White boy's on point.
Oh, he was beyond on point. Joe literally came in and brought something to the band that we didn't think about it at the point of we were a black band. We knew who we were.
I'm being silly, of course.
No. But it's deep because we never thought of it in terms of us being we're black. We know who the fuck we are every day we get up. We black. So
right.
It was the perception of the people looking at us, going, "Oh my God, it's 4 black guys." When we brought Joel in, we brought him in simply because he was the best man for the job.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't. If he was green with polka dots, he would have been playing drums if he played like he played.
Sure.
Jeff, same thing. Brought him in, and Jeff as a singer was something different from Peter. the first batch of demos we cut for In Effect, I don't think reflected us in the best way, possibly because we were growing musically. I really wanted to become a better songwriter. That my thing has always been about the growth. And sometimes if you have a box and you want to step outside the box, it doesn't sit well sometimes. And we went in and we cut a demo real quick. We kind of rushed it.
And you were still technically on In Effect.
Yeah.
You remember this demo, Howie?
I don't remember the demo that much.
Oh, dude, I do.
Yeah, the last like half a year of all that to me was just a tornado, you know. So because you know, while the band is doing what they're doing and the conversations that we're having, you know, there's also conversations going on. You know, like Barry was having conversations with Roger, you know, right. And like, you know, budgets for next album, like people are interested and, you know, this, that, and the other thing. So I wasn't super privy to that. I just knew that like there'd been interest from other labels and are we even doing the next record? And, you know, so again, it was just like a bit of a tornado. Like I can't remember even hearing those specific demos at that point, you know. I'm sure they existed, but you know, I don't really remember them.
What was it traumatic when they wanted to leave the label and eventually sign with East West?
It was traumatic to us. I don't see. You got to remember the other thing that was happening at the label at that point was also they had brought one of the things that happened that really kind of shifted things for us. And I'm not going to use names, but a cat that they brought in came in, and I'll never forget, we came in to have a meeting with everybody, and this dude literally took front and center of the meeting and without mincing words or flinching said, if you don't like it here, you should go find another home. And I was like, who said, really? And all of a sudden, see, now it's kind of like you just raise the stakes, because if you come at me like that, my thing is, well, fuck you, we're gonna find another home. I didn't want to leave though, because this was home. But if this dude is the one who's now in here and he's got the balls to make that kind of a statement, you weren't here for Harder Than You. You weren't here for Gumbo Millennium, so go eat a dick. But right. You are
kind of crazy too, considering those records sold fairly well.
But rap also started to happen, and I think at this point, I think you might have got Fat Joe.
Yeah, Fat Joe came in like 91.
Right.
Fat Joe was on In Effect?
No, it was on Relativity. So Relativity did they brought in somebody, again, we're not going to name names, but brought in some new people, and he was more well versed in the hip hop world. And so the way he did it, which was actually very smart, is he teamed up with the Source magazine, and they did, you know, they had that unsigned hype thing that they'd always do and have like the hot new MC or whatever. Sure. And so what they did is whoever won that month's unsigned hype got a record deal, and that was Common, and he was called Common Sense at the time.
Right?
And so they built around that Fat Joe, the Beatnuts. I'm assuming we know who took that photo.
I don't know. Oh, Rick did. That's us. That's at Tompkins Square. He's holding the camera.
Yeah, that's at the Super Spreader show.
Is this the Madball show?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Jimmy, I didn't know you were there.
Oh yeah, I was there.
But then again, who wasn't there, right?
No, everybody was there.
Everybody was there.
Yeah.
Spreading the love.
All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, and then it was Beatnuts, Chi Ali, right?
Oh,
pre-jail.
Wow.
You know, but they built like this whole rap stable, and that was really like when Sony had purchased the place, and so I got canned. Everyone at Combat got canned. It was like a whole thing. They dropped almost everybody, and then kept like COC and
Joe Satriani.
Well, Joe Satriani was definitely staying, but like Yeah. So even on the Combat roster, they kept like one band, you know.
Wow.
They kept sick of it all, and they put out the second album on just Relativity, not In Effect. So this was all after Spyz was already talking with East West and everything.
Who controls all that stuff now? Is that
Oh,
Sony?
let me say this real
so
quick.
hard to even say.
Hey, people.
Yeah,
Hey,
right?
I want to just say this to your audience listening right now.
Go ahead, baby.
Don't buy Harder Than You or Gumbo Millennium via Spotify. Fuck them.
Yep.
So here's the deal. So our catalog winds up in Relativity's catalog, which becomes Sony's catalog.
Right.
They don't give two shits about what they got because what they wanted to get, they got. Everything else was just, garnish on a plate.
So everything else was collateral damage.
Pretty much. So our two albums wound up there. And as much as we tried, because it was still people who got ushered into Sony through Relativity, nobody could seem to get past XYZ to get to these records.
Right.
When I finally got close enough to get to them, Sony came back with some really bananas, some ridiculous terms for this, that, and the other, limiting how much I could manufacture, how much I had to pay them, but they wanted to do nothing. They didn't even have the masters. They had like 1/4-inch tape, and they had one, which was funny. We mixed Gumbo Millennium. Howie, I don't know if you remember this. There was a new digital tape format that had just come out.
What, ADAT?
No. It was the precursor to the ADAT, though. It was a Sony machine, but they had one at Normandy, and it was like state-of-the-art, brand new. Nobody had it. We mixed Gumbo to this shit. Dude, the machine literally was gone in 6 months.
Right.
So the machine has not existed since 1991. Our mixes are on that tape format. That's what's sitting in Sony's vault.
So there's no machine to
There's
deal
no
with.
machine to do exactly. But somehow, some way, just in the last 3 months, they just put Harder Than You and Gumbo Millennium back out in the digital market.
Yeah,
Must have figured it out.
because now the company's owned by the Orchard,
Right.
and so the Orchard has been doing all this shit. And
Who's owned by the Orchard now?
well, so all of that
They
stuff that
distribute.
was owned
Orchard
by
distribute.
Sony. So Red Distribution is now the Orchard.
The Orchard distributes a couple of my films.
Right. So Red Distribution, which was originally
course.
Relativity Entertainment Distribution,
Uh-huh.
was purchased or merged or something with the Orchard, but the Orchard is like is running shit,
Wow.
And so, but the problem in there is that I feel like even after Sony bought everything, like Universal or BMG bought them, like I'm not even sure who owns anything.
Well, it's like
No
how
idea.
it's like. It reminds me of when we were trying to figure out who owns the 1991 VHS release with
Right.
Gorilla Biscuits,
Right.
Agnostic Front,
Right.
and who else?
Well, it was AF, Sick of It All, and GB.
Right.
Remember for a minute
Right.
they're like,
Wow.
who owns this?
I still have my tape too.
Yeah, I
Couldn't
mean,
figure it out.
the thing is that it's arguable who the hell owns it, because I know technically George Seminara and I own a piece of it,
Right.
Yeah, right.
but I don't know like what big company technically owns or used to own the master. I have no
Right.
idea.
Is that siren coming down my way?
Yeah,
Probably.
it's
I'm trying to
Sony.
figure out-
It's the Orchard. It's
Yeah.
Well, no,
It's
no,
coming to me.
Jimmy. Howie lives up the street from me. Like
I
I can
live a
almost.
block
I
away.
coming for both of y'all there.
Yeah,
He's
So-
literally Howie's a block up my street.
it's fading from me now, so it's either close to you
Yeah,
or
no,
far
no,
away
it's
from
not.
you.
I don't hear it.
Yeah, but
Ain't
yeah,
coming
and that
for
whole thing is such a mess. And I get a call like every couple of months, like Freddie from Madball. It's like, who owns this?
Right.
Like, can we get in touch with them? I want to put it out on vinyl,
Who
And I'm
owns?
like,
Who owns? Dropping many suckers, right? Or
well,
who owns?
that was a whole other label, but that was another little indie. But even like the Roadrunner stuff that we put out with Madball, like it's and then they had one record with Epitaph, and they so it's always a friggin' mystery to figure out where this stuff is.
Here you go. Spaghetti Lee says the Illuminati owns everything anyway. All money flows up the big pyramid scheme.
It feels that way.
Well, I'll tell you what I did, because I got annoyed at one point. I really did, because I kind of felt like I'd exhausted all my options with trying to reach people. So I went and I took the tapes that I still had. I went and remastered the record, and I manufactured them shits, and I sold them shits.
Good
That's
for
it.
you.
Because it was
And
like,
guess what? You never heard anything about it, did you?
I waited, dude. I was waiting to hear. I wanted somebody to tell me something. And
Yo, I
nobody
gotta shout
did.
out. Yo, I gotta shout out my old friend Hollywood. Hollywood represent Scum Love, bro. I love you. I miss you.
True, baby.
Yo, Scum Love represent. Yo, great,
Scum
great,
Love.
great frontman. Also, got to shout out Bob Riley,
What's
upstate
up,
New
Bob?
York.
What's up, Bob?
Troy.
Troy. We've met the enemy, and the enemy is us. Troy, New York. So I got to take a sponsor break, but before we go and we say goodbye to Howie, I just want to say,
stick around, Howie.
Up to him.
So
His show.
Oh, sorry, that's right.
All right, so you know what, guys? Let's
Virgo shit. We bum rush.
love you too, Scum. Hey, so then let's do this. Let's take a break for a couple minutes. Let me do sponsorship stuff and a couple shout outs, and we'll come back and we'll continue on. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, there you have it. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Our guests today are Jimi Hazel and our special guest right up the street from me, Mr. Howie Abrams. We are sponsored by Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Chacho's Tacos, Generation Records, and New York Hardcore Comics, opened in 2013, selling comic books, punk rock and hardcore memorabilia, toys, statues, skateboard decks, tapes, vinyl, and all things horror. We love helping bands push their demos or new tracks, so please stop by and drop off your new music. We have in-store events like Magic the Gathering and Warhammer tournaments, plus meet and greets with bands and some live performances. Open 7 days a week and shipping worldwide. Find us online through Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and eBay. Located at 117 Main Street in lovely Dobbs Ferry, New York. www.newyorkhardcorecomics.com. Also, got to shout out Vlad. I ate there last night. I know a lot of people out there have eaten there and are big fans of the Organic Grill. We love you, Vlad. Organic Grill is a vegan restaurant in the East Village of New York City at 123 First Avenue, featured in New York Magazine, New York Times, and Veg News. Their dishes have won numerous awards, including Best Veggie Burger. They make their own cheeses, sausages, and burger patties, and every dish on the menu can be made gluten-free. This year, they're celebrating their 21st anniversary, and they're all about having a great time while enjoying amazing clean food. They have now fully reopened for business and look forward to seeing you. Get in touch with them. Order some great food at www.theorganicgrill.com. Also, while we're at it, DTFM Vinyl Distro is a record store that specializes in underground music, punk, ska, hardcore metal, and more. Located in the heart of Fargo, North Dakota's industrial district. Shop in person or online at www.dtfmvinyldistro.com, where the motto is death to false metal. Hey, yo, might be preaching to the converted here. Please support the show on Patreon. Where is... Well, the New York Hardcore Chronicles book is available to all patrons for free. If you are one of my patrons, the book is coming to you for free. All you have to do is pay for the shipping. Domestic is $7. International is $25. Patrons, get with the program. Get me your address. Get me your address. So that said, what else I got to remind? Oh, yeah, you know what? A little self-serving. A week from Friday, we are playing out in Long Beach, Anecdote NYHC, calling out all our West Coast people. Come on out. Come see us play. I'd love to see you. Make it happen. What is it? Friday, October 8th, we're playing Alex's Bar in Long Beach with Fang, Dissension, and Count Time. This is going to be a great show. We're stoked to see everybody. And then, listen, and then you really want to know what's happening? We're getting up at 9 in the morning, getting in the vehicles, and we're driving 8 hours up to Pacifica in the Bay Area so we can play Crash Fest with a whole bunch of bands, including Fang. So this is the big Anecdote NYHC West Coast shows. Come on out. Hope to see you. You know, you're a patron. Listen, red, gold, green. You're a patron. Look on Patreon about the book. Get me your mailing address so you can get this thing. It's coming out in about a month. Spaghetti Lee slipped disc shout out. Okay, there you go. There's your slipped disc shout out. What else? Oh, big show coming up at the Bowery. Speaking of Howie Abrams, speaking of you, bro. Speaking of Howie Abrams, come on now. Yo, you gonna come out to this?
Yeah, I'm gonna come down to that. I'm psyched for that.
It's free, you bum. Come on.
Yeah,
come
well, I
on.
would have paid.
It's one of my shows on the Bowery. Dog Eat Dog's playing for free on Sunday, November 7th. So, got to come on down. I know Dog Eat Dog's another one of your. Now, you signed Dog Eat Dog
After.
when you went to Roadrunner.
Yeah, I went to Roadrunner. They were actually one of the first bands I signed over there too.
Yep.
And we did the EP first, like kind of right away, and then the album a little bit later, and the rest is history.
It's good. All right, be back in a second. So there you go. Here is the Patreon. I want to shout out a couple of patrons. Latest bunch of patrons. Lisa Fierro, Scott Gajewski, my Polish brother, Goran Melin, Nick Disbella, Joe Frank, Slimy Slim, Eddie Ahmed, Dave Roebuck, and Dan Steely. Thank you all for supporting the show. Thank you all for making this happen. Couldn't happen without you. A lot of homework goes in, you know. A lot of pineapples go into this show, you know. There's the Patreon address. Get on, get with it, get the book. You know, it's our community within the community. There's also a PayPal address there. If you're not Patreon friendly, what else am I forgetting? There's a super chat also. We're going to take questions from around the world in a couple minutes. There he is. There he is. Am I pronouncing it right? Goran Melin? Do I have it right, brother? Thank you for being a patron and for supporting. Want to announce a couple other shows too while we're at it. Sunday, October 24th, from Wisdom in Chains, Mr. Richie Crutch Mancuso coming on the show. So this should be cool. Then let me run through it here. This is a big one. This is the first side trips show that we're doing. I love these kids. This is going to be real great. Adam and the Metal Hawks from Long Island. These kids are incredible. Love these guys. How about, here's a new show. Haven't announced it yet. This is it. Breaking it out. How about, you asked for it, you got it. Andrew Klein from Strife, World Be Free, Berthold City, and War Records. Andrew Klein coming on the show. Now, that said, I got to tell you about this show that's coming up. Ready for this? This is the second side trip show. I am absolutely excited about this. I mean, this is big in my world. This is a big, big score, okay? Sunday, November 14th. Here we go. Former tour manager of the Rolling Stones and the Grateful Dead, celebrating his book, You Can't Always Get What You Want, My Life with the Rolling Stones, the Grateful Dead, and other wonderful reprobates, Mr. Sam Cutler is coming on the show. This is huge in my world. I'm so excited about this that I landed him. This guy is a legend. He's a tour manager, road manager, legend. He tour managed for the Rolling Stones, you know, on Get Your Yayas Out. You know, ladies and gentlemen, the Rolling Stones. That's Sam Cutler's voice. He has a book out. He's down in Australia. He's pushing 80 years old. And yeah, man, this is going to be great. This is one of our side trip shows. So, this way we can't have, some of the New York hardcore people going, what does he have to do with New York hardcore? This is a New York Hardcore Chronicles Live side trips show. They're called side trips. Yeah, this is going to be great, man. Yep. I know, right? Way, bro. Sam Cutler. Rolling Stones tour. Yo, could you imagine? Yo, this is the guy that put Altamont together. This is the guy that was with the Stones through all that. Woodstock. And he was with the Grateful Dead for years for that whole bit. This is going to be great. I'm so excited about that. Yo, you been on a Stones kick? Check this dude out. Yeah, man. Bananas. Yep. There you go. So yeah, I hope I look like that at 80. Yo, this dude's led a hard life, man. This was like the dude, There you go. Hey, you're a funny guy, Dylan, huh? You've been practicing in front of the mirror? Ask Sam if he's Team Harley or Team JJ. Wow, you're a funny guy, huh? Thought you'd come on my show and be funny, huh? All right, Dylan. There you go. That said, how about that, Rat Bones?
What? Team ball bag? Team ball bag, I'm thinking.
No, I got Sam Cutler coming on the show, bro.
I think some of the shows coming up are incredible, man. I like that that you're going out of bounds a little. It's all right. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, whatever, man. Let him bitch, moan, cry, and
that
complain.
Sounds like an interesting character, Sam Cutler.
All right, I'll bring you on in a bit. Let me bring our people back on. I think that's everything. All right, you calm down a little, Dylan. We'll get crazy here, huh? All right, here's another one. Announcing shows left and right. Wednesday, November 17th. No one's heard of this one yet. How about From Overkill, Shadows Fall, Flotsam and Jetsam, and Stigmata, Mr. Jason Bittner's coming on the show. So got Jason Bittner coming on the show. Don't be scared. Yep. Yeah, right? I can't believe Sam Cutler. Dude, no hype. This is a big... Yo, can you believe that, bro? I got Sam Cutler coming on the show. I mean, all this other stuff's cool, but yo, Sam Cutler's coming on the show. So there you go. That said, let's bring on our guests, Mr. Howie Abrams and Mr. Jimi Hazel. Hey, Jimmy.
Dude, Sam Cutler.
Can you believe it?
Kudos, bro.
Yeah, it's great. You know what? We got to shout out. Hold on. Let me find this. Hold on. We got to shout out Roger Moret. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Got to get that done. Hold on. I got a little graphic here. Yeah. Shouting out one of the greats in New York hardcore. Stay strong, stay true, Roger Moret. He's going through some health issues. Everybody's rallying, and there you go, man. We love you, Roger. Yep. So that said, where were we, boys? How about okay, so Jimmy, so you go to East West, and eventually you do Strength in Numbers, right? Mm-hmm. Which I listen to. I like that record, man. Are you happy? Were you happy with the record at the time? Certainly not the impending disaster, but thoughts on the record looking back?
Oh, I there are moments like I started to understand certain things about making records, and it was the records you make they define the period in which you are living in. Strength in Numbers came at a point where we wanted to elevate everything, and we did just that. And I always said, if this record had come out through In Effect, if In Effect had still been in play at that point,
in business,
this would have you know what I'm saying? This would have been the breakthrough record.
Yeah, I listened to this, and I really like Jeff, right? Jeff's voice on this record. Yeah, I really do. I really liked it, man.
It was, I think it was the perfect lineup at the wrong time.
Oh, you know something? Here's a nice shot here. Sorry I skipped over this.
Uh-oh.
Howie, what's going on here?
Is this the record release? Yeah. So this is the Harder Than You record release show at the Cat
Club.
So you got left to right. You got Mike Kirkland from Prong, who played with them. It was 24/7 Spyz and Prong. That's it. Who played?
Yeah.
And then you got me, Jimi, Rick, Anthony. Then you got Pete and Armand. And then laying on the ground is Barry
Coburn,
who was the president of like Relativity. And
Who is that?
Which one? Laying on the ground?
Yeah.
That's Barry Coburn. He was the president of
I remember Barry. Yeah.
And the whole thing.
I was like, it looked like I couldn't recognize. I thought it was like a woman, like someone's mom or something. Like,
and a very, very lovely in effect cake. And there was a second cake, which was the cover of the album.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think I sent you a photo of them playing that show. If you still have that.
I got to transfer. I managed to transfer this one before the show.
But this was Carlo Wantal was the guy who actually took like the band's promo photos and all that stuff. So the photos that are on the front cover of Harder Than You, he took those. I think Dave Bett, shout out to Dave Bett, is the one who turned us on to Carlo Wantal. And Carlo did a bunch of shoots with you guys, but then he shot you live too, and then he shot the Jungle Boogie shoot.
Yeah,
and he came to the Jungle Boogie video, and what's that called? Whatever that alley is down on Lafayette Street.
Oh, that's my spot, Cortland Alley.
No, there's the other one.
Okay, Cortland Alley's where we shot the Madball video.
Yeah, this is right across the street from the Puck building.
Was it Games Resort?
It wasn't Games Resort. Oh, no, you're right.
It has a different name.
Yeah, no, that is where
like
we
Jersey Street or something. I forget.
No, that is where we shot the Madball video. Cortland Alley's where we shot the Onyx video.
Right.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
It's called like Jersey Street. I forget. It's like it's like a little alleyway between,
of course,
Lafayette and whatever's a block west of it.
I shot Madball down by Law there. Yep.
Right. And so the Spyz video was shot a few years before that. The Jungle Boogie video was shot there in '89, and like we just told like people to come, and so about 200 people showed up, and it was cool because it was like I didn't expect the shoot to be that long at that location. It felt like it went on for days,
for a long time. For a long time, but it was
here's that other shot. Now this is them performing at
the Cat Club that night. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh Lord. Yep.
Boy, this dude would always go hanging from the ceiling, huh?
Well, that's the
like
thing.
I said, you unleashed. He was unleashed.
Right.
And you see Howie there with the stripe.
Yeah, I'm wearing the that's a prototype tie-dye in effect shirt that we never made.
Word up.
Wow.
Wow, man.
That's
Crazy.
Great.
But so that was an interesting time. And one thing I just wanted to comment on that you were talking about before, Drew, and Jimmy got to comment on it a little bit, which was, like when the band left in effect.
Yeah.
And went on to East West. So it's funny because that was a weird thing to be a part of, especially when you're young and like you got your ego happening and like
it must be traumatic.
It was just weird because
it was weird. Weird is the best word. I agree.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like we were friends too. It's not like it wasn't just a business transaction, so
this was like Howie was like a brother. Look, when I say the
we're
family,
doing this now, right, for a reason.
Yeah. It's
basically, there's the business going on the second floor, and like we're just trying to like have music get made and do our thing on the other floor, and then on top of it, we're friends. So like I would hear like bits and pieces about what was going on, like Warner is interested, one of the Warner labels is interested in 24/7 Spyz, and they're not happy, and blah blah blah, and like just stuff, so, and I'm like, I didn't really know they weren't happy, you know what I mean?
We weren't. Everybody made it a point of, I think the people who were involved because it was almost as personal as it was business.
Mm-hmm.
Everything got magnified. So
Yeah.
it's like if one thing was this big, because it got said, it blossomed to something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not happy, and who said that? We don't even know who started it, but it got said and it blew up. And like the craziest thing was, we wound up playing showcases for major labels. And the thing about us and major labels was we didn't want to be bothered, because early on, nobody would touch us.
That's right.
Nobody would touch us. And this is simply because, and that was cool. Living Color got signed to Sony. And while we were all happy and proud and all of that, the one thing that did happen out of that was everybody said, let's not sign another black band until we see if this thing works.
Right.
So nobody,
that's how things were at that time.
Yeah, it was almost like Living Color literally had stepped on.
They were a novelty, you know?
That's how, and that's, everybody just said, just fall back. So here we come, like, yeah, we got this other thing, and persona non grata, we don't talk to you, don't come to us. And we were like, okay, fine. But when we got up with in effect, the beautiful thing was they were as young and as crazy as we were, which meant that we all had nothing to lose. They had the most to lose than we did. But together, we accomplished more than anybody ever. Nobody saw coming what came.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like, Harder Than You was made on a very independent record budget.
So we made that record for $20,000.
Right. And that was like,
we thought that was like, wow, this is.
We were like, holy crap. Like, look at all this money, And it was like.
And where was that recorded?
Oh, Platinum Island.
Oh, wow.
Bob Musso.
3 days.
Now.
3 days. Yep. 3 days.
3 days start to finish.
Platinum Island was a nice studio, man.
Very nice studio.
Yes. Bob
Went
Musso.
up in there with Bob Musso and
Oz Fritz engineered.
Oz Fritz, that's right.
Yeah.
And then
Hey, this is Jimmy. This is you speaking of Living Color,
that's
right?
Corey. Yeah.
Now, were you in Living Color? Were you guys cool back in the day, or
Yeah.
were you guys? I mean, were you? I mean, I know you guys are very close now.
Very
but
much so.
Back in the day, were you close, or was it sort of a friendly rivalry?
Never a rivalry.
Mhm.
We were friendly in the beginning. At a certain point, when we stepped away from the coalition, it wasn't even personal as far as we were concerned. Outside entities made it personal, and
Always, right?
and that kind of turned our thing into we're not as cool as we could have been, should have been. And we rectified that years later, which I'm really glad to say. I love Vernon. I love all of those cats. Because the one thing we all realized, and we realized this in particular when we started to lose people that were important to us, because you start to understand that conversations that you didn't have with somebody need to be had while you can have these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things were spoken about, and we cleared a lot of the air. And there's never been a rivalry between Living Color and Spyz. We just happen to be two black bands, two guitar-driven bands that scared the living daylights out of people, and they didn't know how to perceive, let alone one, but two.
What's going on in this photo here? Where is this? Do you remember?
That was at I think it might have been the Palladium. Urban Dance Squad had Urban Dance Squad had finally come to America. So when we went to Europe for the first time in '89, we played the Pop Park Festival in Rotterdam and saw Urban Dance Squad for the first time, and were blown away. And they became literally like our Dutch brothers. When we came back to do the winter tour, they came out as our support. So we championed them the whole time. They wound up getting a deal. They were signed to Areola in Europe, which wound up being Arista in America. So when they finally brought them over, there was a whole big push. They had Deeper Shade of Soul, which I thought was the worst thing that they could have made the focal point for that band, because the band was so much doper than Deeper Shade of Soul was a great crossover track, But to start off in the States, they could have came with something that would have just completely just obliterated everybody.
But that's major label shit right there. It's like that was certainly the obvious, you know.
And it worked for a minute, but it didn't transcend as it should have. But when they came, we were just glad to see them on our side of town.
Right on.
And the first show they played with us, and I think they had the misfortune of playing with us. Simply because we actually went on first, which was crazy. But at this point, Arista had the power. Arista bought the date. Arista bought the band. We were like, for us, it was like we get to play with our friends. But we also were now a new band, and we gave two fucks about nothing and nobody. Which meant it didn't matter who was coming on after or who came on before. We were coming to kill everybody.
Hey, let me do my last sponsor break real quick. It'll be a fast
Sponsors.
one, and then let's come back and take questions from around the world. All right?
Oh, great.
Hey, if you got questions for Howie Abrams or for Jimi Hazel, post them up. This is the one, the only, often imitated, never duplicated New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. And we are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Chacho's Tacos, Generation Records, and Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards, located in Lakewood, Colorado, is the Rocky Mountain headquarters for all things punk, hardcore, and metal. Established in 2014, they have the largest selection of records, CDs, shirts, stickers, patches, and accessories between Chicago and LA. From the pit to the ditch, they got your back. Get in touch with them at www.chainreactionrecords.com. How about it? Joe Ramini. The Texas Silver Rush is a jewelry design firm and boutique store located in the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. Yeehaw! Goddamn electric. They specialize in working with musicians in all music genres to design and create unique one-off pieces, as well as to style them for stage, album covers, promo photos, and social media exposure. Their client list includes Rock Roll Hall of Famers Greg Rollet, Ringo Starr, and of course, Agnostic Front. During this current pandemic, all information and online sales are being taken at their Facebook and Instagram page, and of course, www.thetexassilverrush.com. Just want to remind everybody that this Sunday is the landmark 150th episode of this show. Thank you all for the support. Paris Mayhew is going to be on, a guy that I have quite a history with. We're going to talk about all the old music videos. We're going to talk some pro mags, his new project, Agros. He is a proficient filmmaker. So this Sunday is a big show. Please stop by. Also, just real quick, one more time, the New York Hardcore Chronicles book is going to be free to all the patrons. If you're wondering how to be a patron, there it is. There it is. Patreon.com/Drew Stone. Get with it. Support the show. The show supports you. Help me help you, for Christ's sake. That said, let's bring our guests back. If you have a burning desire, a question that must be asked, do a super chat for a couple bucks. It comes up in color, in living color, and I can't miss it. It'll go right to the front of the line. Sometimes I miss. It's a one-man show here. It's just me and the pineapple and the bag of lemons. Let's bring on our friends, Mr. Howie Abrams.
Hello.
And Mr. Jimi Hazel.
It's just me, my pineapple, and the bag of lemon.
And a couple of bananas.
Dude, hey now.
All right, let's clear the deck here. Let's see what we got here. Let's poke around. Here we go. From our friend Cliff Menser. Question: Ronnie Drayton played on the newest Spyz album. Did Jimi get to write with Ronnie Drayton? Rest in peace, R.D.
There was only one song on the album that Ronnie had brought in, which we wound up collaborating on, which was called Repeating Myself. Ronnie brought the song in for the most part, and I just kind of I just did a little bit I did the arrangement on it. I wrote one of the verses, but musically it was all him. Yeah, that was my dude. You know, it's crazy that, you know, he's gone. He's still with us, but he's not here physically, and we miss him terribly.
Yeah.
Seriously, he was a beautiful cat.
Howie, here's one for you. Wait, where did that just go? A couple of people have asked this. Just for clarification, it was In Effect. Which In Effect was first? There's Chris Wynn is In Effect fanzine, and then there's the In Effect label, and it's always a little confusing. Are they related?
They're not related, and it's funny because I did an interview with Chris maybe less than a year ago, and he asked me that question himself. And so I remember it being pretty much simultaneous, and I even mentioned it early on, like with Eric Wielander's zine. There was like this crew of dudes from Queens who all had these zines. And so what was cool about all these zines is that they weren't just hardcore. Like they would cover like lots of different stuff. So there'd be like a Public Enemy record review. There'd be, you know, a Breakdown record review. So it was that kind of thing. And so we were trying to pinpoint which came first, and we just decided who cares.
Right.
But they were around the same time.
Okay. Hey, Jimmy, ask Jimmy, will there be any live shows happening in the UK from 24/7 Spyz?
Oh God. You know how long we've been trying to get back to the UK? We just canceled the European dates that were in play for November, and we just pushed them to next year. So hopefully in the wake of doing that, we can add more dates and make it, you know, when the world is ready. Yeah. The world is right. We can go and hit everywhere, because we definitely need to get back to London, Scotland, Ireland, all of that.
Does the whole band live in the metropolitan area, New York metropolitan area?
Yes.
That's unique in this day and age, right?
Yeah, you know, we're a three-piece once again. So
yeah.
Tony Lewis, Rick Skater, and myself. Yeah, we're all here.
Yeah, and I want to mention that the latest record you put out, the soundtrack to the Innermost Galaxy, right? And who's ringing? Is that you, Howie? It's Howie.
It's weird because we have
got a house phone.
Yeah, you know, we need it to talk. We needed to talk to the doorman.
It's for you.
Hold up a banana.
Oh, excuse me.
There you go.
Howie, it's for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
bringing back memories.
So I just want to say, Jimmy, that I listen, you know, when I do my homework for the shows, I listen to a lot of material, and man, your latest record that you sing on, the soundtrack to the Innermost Galaxy, I gotta say, man, it is really great. I know, Howie, you feel the same way, right?
Yeah, big time. Such a great album, and
it's really
you know,
good,
it's
man.
funny because Jimmy and I talked like a couple of weeks ago, and you know, it's so interesting because, you know, this particular show does a lot of stuff with hardcore people and whatever. So, and I was trying to remind Jimmy that there are so many people who don't know that Spyz was still going after Gumbo Millennium, you know, or even after the East West record, because there was a lot of people who followed that too. But it feels like there was this big chunk of space,
right?
And now this album comes out, and obviously, to your average person, it's just very, very different, you know, than what they'd heard from Spyz before. But it really is a pretty natural continuation of where it was coming from. And it's just so friggin' mature. And usually when you say mature, it means sellout, which is not.
Right.
When you hear a hardcore band say mature.
It's one of those industry things like exhaustion equals cocaine.
Right,
you know?
right.
Like he's suffering from exhaustion. Like
it's like you know, like in real estate when cozy means small.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Damn.
Right.
Well, I can honestly say this. Look, at 58, you're not going to find me on Tiger Beat magazine. If we were going to sell out, it would have happened like 35 years ago. You know, So no.
Hey, Jimmy, tell us about this photo here.
Terry Date and I, we had mixed the album originally. I went out to we cut the album in New York, and when I wanted to mix it, he was the first person I thought of. I didn't want to mix the record. There was a whole lot going on that I wasn't mentally ready to deal with taking on that responsibility. So I asked Terry if he would do it, and he said he would only do it if I did it with him. We did straight the numbers together. So this was great. It was just like us teaming up again after all of the years, and nothing had changed. He's a beautiful dude. But what we're going to do with the record next is, in the wake of COVID, in the wake of not being able to support the record, not being able to tour, we're going to pull the record from all the digital platforms. We're going to reconfigure it, add new tracks, remaster, remix a couple of things, and drop singles over the course of a new single maybe every 3-4 months until the record is ready to be put back out properly, reintroduce it to everybody, and finally go out and do some playing behind it.
Because people don't know, man.
They don't.
I'm a fan of that record, man. I listened to all the stuff, and that came up, and I was like, what is because I listen to this stuff on Spotify. I'm doing my thing, and like tracks come up, and I'm like, wow, what record is this? And I'm like, this is the most recent shit. Wow.
Oh, and shout out to Fish, who will forever be an honorary Spyz member. He's part of the family, but he always was. But yeah, that album literally started out from a conversation that Fish and I had. Fish had left Fishbone, wasn't playing, and one day I reached out and I said, "Dude, how do you feel about joining a band?" And he goes, "I'm at peace with my former bandmates." And I said, "I'm not talking about Fishbone. I'm talking about Spyz." He goes, "Are you kidding?" I said, "No." I said, "Me and Rick are gonna we want to reboot and start again. You want to play drums?" And he said, "Yeah." And I started to write, and I would send everything to him, and we would formulate. And he literally was the drummer for the record until we brought Tony Lewis back in, who played on 2 tracks on the album. But Fish's family, Fishbone is family, so it's all good. It's all good.
From Chucky Brown, our resident historian,
God.
Can he speak on when he went up to Eddie Hazel, Parliament Funkadelic, at a bar in Cleveland when 24/7 Spyz opened up for P-Funk All-Stars in 1989?
You must already know the story, but I'll abbreviate.
I don't know this story.
All right, I'll tell you. Okay, here's how this works. So we were gonna finally open up for the P-Funk All-Stars. We were super psyched because all along the Harder Than You tour, we kept seeing who was either behind us or who was in front of us, and like, oh man, we just missed so and so. Oh, wow, look who's coming! And for about a good 2 months, we were on the same circuit. And it turned out this one particular show at Peabody's down under Cleveland, Ohio. Yep, Peabody's. We were going to open for the P-Funk All-Stars. So for us, these were our heroes. This was going to be one of them epic moments where I finally get to meet Eddie Hazel. We get there, they're not there. We get there before everybody. We sound check. When we finish checking, somebody runs in and says, "The bus just got here." We're like, "Oh, they're here." So John Collins was with us. I said, "Dude," I said, "Here, take my guitar. I'm going to run back out. Come back, call me back, and we're going to come back on stage and play Jimmy's Jam when they're walking in so Eddie can see me play." Like, all right, cool. So they walk in, we start playing. I'm trying to burn the guitar up and shit. They're just standing there and shit. And they walk in, and Eddie and Gary Shatter walk over to the bar, and they sit down at the bar. So finish playing. I give John my shit, grab my towel, walk over. And I'm like, "Excuse me." I said, "Mr. Hazel, sir, I just want to say it's an honor to meet you and to play with you." And he looks at me and he says, "Oh, fuck you, man." I was like, "Excuse me?" He said, "Get the fuck out of here. Fuck you." I was like, "Oh, okay." And he turns back to Gary and they start talking like I'm not even there. And I'm just standing there like, what just happened? What did I do? Nobody spoke to me ever again. And I slowly walked away. I ran out the club. I went on the bus and I just sat there and I was like, I'm fucked in the head. Like, I don't know what I did. I don't know what happened. Nobody notices that I'm not there. Finally, Rick comes to look for me. He goes, "Dude, everybody's in the room. Why are you here?" I said, "Eddie Hazel told me to go fuck myself." He told me, "Fuck you." He goes, what'd you say to him? I said, it's an honor and a pleasure to meet you. He goes, you said something else. I said, no, I didn't. He said, well, come back in. I said, I'm not going back in. He goes, you got to come back in. I finally go back in. I find like the deepest, darkest corner to just like hide in and shit. And I'm sitting there and I'm just looking. Him and Gary still at the bar talking shit with each other. I'm like, so now I got an angel on one shoulder, devil on the other one. The angel's going, leave it alone. Let it go.
And Devil's saying, yo, fuck this
fuck
dude.
that shit. Go find out what the fuck happened.
Yeah, yo, fuck that dude.
So I finally walk over. They still talking. I said, excuse me. I said, I just want to apologize if I said anything to like, if I offended you. And he goes, oh, I was just fucking with you, man. What? I was fucking with you. I said, you fucking broke my heart, dude. I said, why would you do that? He goes, I got to tell you something. I said, what? He goes, you motherfuckers have been in front of us for a couple of days. I was like, couple shows. I was like, yeah, okay. And he goes, every night without fail, I got people coming back after the show going, oh, your son's band was here and you must be so proud. Your son is amazing. Everybody thought he was my father. He was like, I ain't got no fucking son. How old do you think I am? So he was gonna punk me when he finally met me because I took his name. My name is not Jimi Hazel, of course.
Right.
But everybody thought he was my dad. And so from that point moving forward, he became my other dad, and we got real tight and stayed tight
cool.
until he
cool.
passed. But
you know what the best part of that story is? Right now, if you're in a band and you had a hero in the room and you want to meet them or whatever, it's like, I can't wait to take a selfie with that motherfucker, right? And it's like, you were like, I can't wait to play in front of him.
Literally.
Like, how different is that?
You know what? And you know what?
You just wanted to play music in front of your hero. Other people are like, snap, like don't even talk to him, and they put it up on Instagram. And
exactly. And the only thing that I wish, there's no pictures of us.
Oh.
And we played together one more time. We talked. We played. Remember when they opened up the new Ritz in New York?
The new Ritz, as in Studio 54.
Studio 54. Yeah.
We opened up for them during the Gumbo tour in 1990. We opened for the P-Funk All-Stars.
I remember that.
And it was a horrible show. God, it was. They were so fucked up, dude. Yeah. I mean, look, I'm just. Let me just put this out on the record. So the crazy thing about the '89 show, we'd heard all the rumors about the mayhem that was going on with the P-Funk camp, the crack smoke, all of that mayhem. And we were just like, really? Really? So this one particular moment, dude, this was so surreal. The club had steps leading up to the dressing rooms, and you could walk up one side or walk down the other side. Rick is going up one side, George Clinton's coming down the other side. Just before they cross paths, he leans over the railing and blows like a fucking ball of crack smoke in his face. Dude, I mean, absolutely bananas. The weirdest thing about that night was we saw more of our heroes show up at that show. Half the Barcade showed up. The Ohio Players showed up. I'm sitting there freaking out because I'm like, Diamond from the Ohio Players, Larry Dotson from the Barcades, because it was a P-Funk show. Cleveland. All the fucking
P-Funk in Cleveland.
Dude, it was bananas.
You see that P-Funk documentary? That wasn't very kind to George Clinton, that documentary.
I got to say this much.
I mean, it was good. I'm a documentary fiend. I watch it. I watch it all. I'm a documentary filmmaker. So I got to see what's out there. But yeah, that really, boy.
I think the interesting thing about that whole period, and somebody said something real interesting to me, was that the 70s literally was fueled by drugs. Mm-hmm. Literally. The record companies were on fucking coke. The bands were on coke. The record companies were giving the bands more coke to go in and make their records real quick. Here's a bonus for selling all these records. Here's a brick of coke. It was just coke.
Yep.
So,
hey.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I want coke right now.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. I don't even do nothing. But what happened, literally, we watched our heroes, and it's deep to watch your heroes from a distance and then see your heroes up close. Because if you're smart, you almost kind of learn what not to do. You dig? without even being told, because you can just, they gonna tell you what's up because they look at you. George gave me the highest compliment I ever got from anybody. And this, and how I'm gonna end that story. I came back to the dressing room to do a dummy check, make sure nobody left anything behind. I go in the room. The bathroom is in the dressing room as well. I don't think anybody's in there. George is sitting in the bathroom. Sorry, George. Call it what it is. Sitting on the shitter, pants around his ankles, tray of blow on his lap, sweating profusely, extensions all over the place. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were in here. And he goes, no, Jimmy, I want to talk to you. And I'm like, oh, God. It's George Clinton. I got to talk to him. He's sitting on the toilet.
This is how it's going to happen.
This is George. I pull up. He goes, I want to pull up a chair. I'm like, this man's on the toilet. Fuck it. Let me get the chair. This is George. I pull up a chair. I sit down, and he says, let me tell you something.
How can that? Yo, that's
no, but dude, you talk about this is how genius George was, and I understood his genius specifically at that point. It was like the biggest light shined on me, and I didn't know it until years later. He said, watching you guys tonight was like watching us 20 years ago. He goes,
that's cool.
That was amazing. I said, wow. I said, I'm honored. I said, thank you so much. He said, I hope it doesn't take people 20 years to catch on to what y'all doing. And when he said that, I was like, that must be some good ass blow. Because we got a video on MTV, we got a video, we know the magazines. In my mind, I'm like, everybody knows who we are. That wasn't the case.
Right.
And when he said it, it wasn't until maybe 10 years later when I understood, like when I would come across people and go, I think I heard you guys. I'm not sure. And I was like, where were you? And then all of a sudden I heard George going, I hope it doesn't take people 20 years to catch on to what y'all doing.
All right. Hey,
still happens to this day. But we're gonna change that.
Larry Kelly did a super chat. He's asking about your gear. What's your main guitar these days? What's up in what kind of gear you playing through? I mean, let's not go down a black hole here, but because we could do gear for an hour here. What's your main guitar? Anything new and exciting in the gear world?
Guitars are really interesting. I keep a 9 out of 10 times the guitars I play are by cats who I love as people who just happen to make amazing instruments. Jack Briggs, Saul Cole, Pete Malinowski, Paul Reed Smith. Those are primarily the 4 cats whose instruments I play. I'm blessed to have 2 instruments that used to belong to Jeff Lee Johnson, amazing guitar player and brother who passed away way too soon. I keep those 2 in my arsenal, and that's it. And I keep a VJ in my arsenal as well. But that's it. As far as amps go, I deal with Koch out of the Netherlands, Synergy, and 3 Monkeys, and that's pretty much it. Pedals, Robert Keeley, my dude, Jeffrey Teese, who makes the best wah pedals on the planet, Real McCoy, custom wahs. That's it. I'm not in bed with anybody, so I'm not indebted. I play what I want. I use what I like. And luckily, I like the people who make the stuff that I use.
Cool. Rick says, we're with you guys for 20 plus years, Jimmy. We caught on quickly.
Yes, yes. Oh, and I got to say, as far as gear goes, Kurt Mangan strings. Kurt Mangan has been a supporter of Spyz from day one, and I love him. And his strings are the only strings I use, period.
Hey, I want to do something that could throw my whole show into jeopardy, but I feel bold. Let me find this clip. Hold on. and hold on. Where is it? Okay.
What is it, Howie?
No, it's this, and I have pictures for it. Hold on.
It was just another Saturday afternoon until those old guys came out of the woods with axes. Just when you thought it couldn't get any weirder, it did.
What is that? Oh, it threw it out. It threw the whole thing. It's just me and you, Jimmy.
Hey, what's up, Howie?
Everything's good.
Welcome to the Howie Abrams, Jimmy Hazel show.
Now we're gonna talk about real shit.
Yeah, let's talk about
boy. I wasn't kidding, huh?
Yeah,
like, holy
man, we were
shit.
just about to do our own show.
You know what? That's. Let me try this again. Hopefully, it doesn't throw the world into fucking chaos,
think
which
it
it
did.
which it just did.
This ought to be great.
Let's try this again.
This section is brought to you by Spicy Hot Cheeto.
Here we go. Got it. Let's see. Hopefully I don't get blocked for this. Here we go.
It was just another Saturday afternoon until those old guys came out of the woods with axes. Just when they thought it couldn't get any weirder, it did. They even brought their own music.
Bitches! Hey, fellas, how about a cold bud? A bud?
Obviously, we thought alike.
Oh, that's cold.
What? How did that come about? And wait, now I have a picture to go with it. Here's the picture to go with it.
Yeah.
Where was this shot?
Lake.
Oh, first off, I'm sorry. Explain what this is and where it was shot.
That's actually from the Budweiser commercial. That's from the shoot itself. We shot that on Lake Superior.
Oh wow.
In the wintertime, the lake was actually frozen and they chipped a hole in it. And the whole premise was they actually bought the Polar Bear Club and the dudes that go swimming in the
And
freezing
those dudes just jumped right in?
dude. Yeah. So the crazy thing about that is we were on tour and we were in the South, hot as hell.
Ha!
We flew out to do this. We had no winter clothes.
Oh.
So we had to stop at a spot and buy stuff. So we bought like long johns, but on the lake, it's like below zero. It's freezing. And we're watching these old dudes literally jump in this water, and we're like, we ain't doing that shit. They're like, no, you know, you're gonna play. But I will say this much. What I learned from that experience was residuals.
Yeah.
I learned a valuable lesson doing that damn commercial because they offered. So the funny thing was, rumor has it that they wanted to get a band to do the commercial, and they had 3 bands in mind initially. The first band they wanted to use, they said no to because it was a drug issue. The second band, it was
let's not mention any names.
I'm not meant. That's why I didn't. The second one, it was a possible gang thing issue.
It's not too hard to figure out what bands they were talking about.
That's like I said, no names. So
Right.
they came to us to, and asked it, and we were like, sure. So the crazy thing was they draft this agreement, and they come back and they say, look, we're prepared to offer you this, that, and the other. And we were like, wow, okay, great. But they were like, but we're also prepared to offer you half of this or less than half, and you can get residuals. We were like, okay. And then they go the distance to stress that if the commercial doesn't cause a spike in sales of a certain demographic, it won't run anymore, and it'll be pulled, which means you won't see any residuals.
Right.
So we were like, do we take the money or take the lesson?
Door number 1 or door number 2, right?
Literally. And we asked the people who were with us, and they were like, take the money. We were like, yeah, fuck it, take the money. The commercial's not gonna fucking, dude. That commercial ran for 6 months.
It was on during the Super Bowl.
It was on during the Super Bowl.
Oh.
That commercial caused a spike in sales for Budweiser like nobody's business. And all I kept thinking about was, you know how much money we just lost?
Ouch.
You lost some more money too, because when you left in effect, we had a commercial too for blue colored quarter water. And so, basically you could have gotten all your little barrels of quarter water for free. And
why didn't you tell me this?
Well, because it doesn't exist, but whatever.
Well, the last thing about us leaving in effect right after the Jane's Addiction tour, which really pissed me off. The next tour for us after that was supposed to be us, Exodus, and Suicidal Tendencies. That was supposed to be the next tour.
And that's when Peter quit.
He quit at the end of it was
right. It was booked, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the Jane's tour. We were going to come home for like a week or 3 weeks or whatever, or a month, and then go back out with Suicidal and Exodus.
Yeah,
and
that
the
was
crazy
like
thing,
like theater-sized venues too.
Yeah, the next level for us. And the crazy thing was the Buck Pets came on in our place with Jane's Addiction. They came to play New York, and it was not a good fit. And their tour manager and the band asked us if we would come back. And we were like, we couldn't because we had no band at that point. So it was just like, oh man, if I ever wanted to kill somebody, that was the time when I wanted to kill somebody.
Here's, now that you mention it, I remember that.
Here's something that's actually, if you read the 24/7's Wikipedia, it's actually in the Wikipedia. It says that he quit and they had a suicidal tendencies. So this is something I didn't get to, but I always like to get this stuff up. Here's a flyer for City Gardens. You'd figure that this is probably 89.
That's 89.
What's interesting here is on Sunday, July 30th, it's very interesting to see sort of the eclectic mix of bands you're playing with.
Raw
it's
Deal.
24/7 Spyz, Vision, Raw Deal, Shades Apart, and the Slammin' Watusis.
You did a lot of shows with the Slammin' Watusis, right?
They were our support act on our tour.
That's right.
They came out with us. So here's what's even deeper, though. August 6th, Bad Brains and Leeway at City Gardens, right? Just prior to that, we played the one show together at L'Amour's.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Right, the New York show. That's right.
Yeah. The only show, us, Brains, and Leeway. And it was funny because I remember...
I think I was at that show at L'Amour's.
Dude, that show was absolutely bananas.
Yeah. That was right when HR came back. That was right when HR came back for Quickness.
It's actually like, if I'm remembering this right, it's kind of like the last time the Bad Brains were like kind of good.
No, they were so ridiculous.
Yeah, because it was really the last time where they were still pretty magic, you know.
They were absolutely, that whole night was crazy. I think I told Howie, I said, I told somebody else, I said my highlight was Billy Milano, because everybody kept going, Jimmy, dive, and I was like, I don't stage dive. I don't trust nobody to catch my fat ass. I'm not diving anywhere. And Billy was like, us big guys got to stick together. And he picks me up and puts me on his shoulders, and he just fucking buffaloed his way through the crowd. And it was just like, we're just knocking the shit out of people. I'm like, this is great. I'll get in the pit if you carry me, forever.
Lenny Kravitz back in the day.
Yeah, we knew Lenny. I met Lenny.
We knew Lenny when he was Romeo Blue, right?
First met him when he was Romeo Blue, but we reconnected when we all wound up in Europe in '89. And the night we played in Paris, which was really deep, dude was breaking big in '89. Dude, this is how deep this was. We played a really cool club in Paris, packed. Lenny was playing like a theater in Paris, and we went to go see him. Dude, ass to elbow. It was so tight in there, we could barely get in. And we're just watching all these French people going, let love roll. We're like, why wasn't y'all at the Spot show? But the following year, we wound up playing some festivals together. Good dude. I got one Lenny Kravitz story. Classic. So this particular one, 1990, we all get to the hotel. Buses pull up. We all talking. One, he goes, yo, you want to smoke some stuff? I got some really good weed. Got some good hash. We go up to the room. Me, him, and Rick sitting there getting blazed, having a ball. MTV is on. MC Hammer comes on. Lenny goes, man, I can't stand MC Hammer. I said, word, I can't stand Lenny Kravitz either. Lenny goes, what? I said, word, I can't stand MC Hammer either. He goes, that's not what you said. I said, yes, I did. I said, I can't stand MC Hammer. He said, no, I'm not that high. You said you can't stand me. I said, I didn't say that shit. He goes, Rick, didn't he just say he can't stand me? Rick goes, I don't know, I'm high. It took years. Lenny would ask people years later, how's Jimmy? Still can't stand me? I love Lenny to death. Good brother. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He said it was a Freudian slip. I just equated to really good hash.
Yeah, you know what?
I don't smoke either anymore, so go figure.
Eric Von Butts just said
he's right. He's right.
HR had the Bible on stage. This is the show I remember. This is right. I remember this show. because I was talking to HR beforehand, and he was telling me how I need to read the Bible. I remember this. This is the show that I thought it was. Yeah, they still had some magic.
That tour was amazing.
Was that what tour was that, Howie? Quickness tour?
That was the Quickness tour. So that show at Lemoore was either the first or the last show of the tour. And so he came back 11th hour to do the vocals on Quickness. Like the record was being made with other people. That's when, they were messing with what's his name from Faith No More, who passed away.
Chuck Mosley. Yeah,
Chuck Mosley, and like all these people.
Taj.
Yes.
Yeah.
I recently saw a photo of them with Taj. I didn't even know they took photos with Taj, but like they did.
They played City Gardens with Taj.
Yes, that I knew. I saw them with Taj at the first show with Taj was at the Anthrax in Connecticut.
Wow.
And so my friends and I trekked out to that show because the next night was the Ritz, and so the first night was with Taj. The first show with Taj was in Connecticut. So we went, and obviously you're already skeptical because it's just not HR. And it's
I felt bad for Taj.
So we went, and in 4 songs we left. We went home.
Really?
Yeah. We just left. Not because he was bad, just because he wasn't HR.
He wasn't HR. Exactly.
And so I couldn't give him the time of day. Like
meanwhile, if you could take a time machine back right now and see that, it would be great.
Right.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when Israel was in the band, I liked it kind of off the bat.
Good.
You know what I mean? So I didn't love the Rise record because of the production, because it was very soft. But the songs were good, and then when you saw them play it and you heard Israel,
they were good, man. I saw. We'll talk about the old studio, the new Studio 54, right? I saw them at the Studio 54. That was a great show. Like when that record first came out.
Yeah,
and like people were digging it, man.
Yeah, because he was really good live.
Yes.
He was energetic. His voice was good. It felt really similar to when Jeff joined Spyz. I was saying that earlier, like, because I didn't miss Peter, I missed HR, but
I missed HR.
But I thought that, like, in a way, because regardless of like him being a nut or whatever, the world who were just fans just saw what they thought was a great frontman. They just got attached to him as the frontman of the band. So when he was gone, you had the whole adjustment period.
It was a void, man. It was
just the fact that it's someone else is a problem, and so that takes a minute. But when Israel was in Bad Brains, it sort of was really good, like, because I think he was so much better than everyone they tried in between. And and then also, you can't, it's HR. You can't
replace.
You can't.
Hey, tell that to the dead Kennedys, right?
But like, it's the same thing. Like, there's always going to be much younger kids who don't care.
And that's kind of great too in its own right, that you have people that just want to celebrate the music and hear the music, and they're not like, well, this guy's not, they love the music, and the music is what lives forever,
That's right.
Yeah, but most people don't recognize that until after the fact. In the moment, they're so busy, they're so stuck on what they want and what they want.
Yep.
Not so much about what they have.
Well, that's it. I was a hater. I was just a hater with Taj. Like, I showed up to the show ready.
A lot of people were, dude. A lot of people were. A lot of people like.
And then I got to the Ritz the next day, and I'm like, oh, I saw him last night. It was fucking terrible.
Hey, Jimmy. In 2006, you did the record Face Today. And it was produced by a great guitar player who I like a lot is Ronnie, Ron Thal. People know him as Bumblefoot. What was it like working with Ron?
Absolutely beautiful. So the crazy thing with that, the way that happens was, wow, it was weird. Somebody he knew who was a huge fan of the band told him, go check Spyz out, and he winds up down at CBGB's one night.
No shit.
Yeah. He comes down and sees us, and he's like, I know somebody who knows you guys, and blah, 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 blah. And we start talking. And
this is before he was in Guns N' Roses and all that, right? Yeah.
As a matter of fact, so the crazy thing was, this is before Guns N' Roses, but midway through the making of this record, was all the turmoil that was starting just to get the paperwork done for Guns N' Roses. So we really all went through it with him.
Yeah, they put him through the ringer,
Dude,
man.
it was crazy.
They
But
put him through the ringer, man.
you talk about, so here's how it was so deep.
Yeah, it's true. Thought that was Rob Flynn from Machine Head.
I swear to
A lot
God,
of people said, yeah, that's that.
That's so true. It looks like Rob Flynn.
I wasn't really sure what the story was going to be, and I'm like, why is Rob
Rob in there with Jimi, right?
I didn't even make the connection, but it's so true.
It does, and a lot of people were like, dude, that's Rob. I said, no, that's Bumblefoot.
He's a nice fella, man.
No, dude. I love him, dude. So what happened was, I said to him, we're thinking about making a record. We just brought a new drummer. We brought this cat Tobias Ralph to play drums.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, okay. He goes, so what are you gonna do? I said, we're gonna go make a record. He goes, why don't you come and make it at my spot? I said, how much do you want? He goes, you can do it for free. I was like, are you kidding? He goes, no. He goes, just come. He goes, my studio's not the greatest studio. You know, we call it the Crack Shack. We were like, really?
Out in Jersey, right?
Yeah. This is before, and this is all before, because he turned it into a really beautiful thing. But prior to that, it was like he knew every nook and cranny of his room. We literally set up in there and we just banged out the album, and it was.
That's a dude that just loves music, man.
He's a beast of a player, but he's even more of a beautiful person.
Yeah, he's a very kind, nice guy.
Now he's a sweetheart. I love him to death. I love him to death. He played, and it was cool because we did a track called Blues for Dimebag on that album, and I asked him to play on it because I actually asked him to play all over the record. He sang on some stuff. He played acoustic. He played fretless. We just had a ball.
Talented dude. Yeah, he
really was. So when he got the Guns N' Roses gig, I was happy for him. You know, not knowing all that came along with it. And I went and saw the first show that they played in New York.
I was there at the Hammersmith Ballroom.
So was I. Yeah, I was I was there for the first night, and it was cool because I sat with Axel, which was interesting at soundcheck. And I was like, you know, you hear all these stories about, oh yeah, dude's an asshole, blah 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 blah. Axel was a really nice guy. We sat and talked about 20 minutes about how beautiful Ron was.
I saw him I saw Ron in the lobby, and I was like, yo, congratulations, bro. He was like, here we go.
Yeah, and as quick as it started falling apart, and he was just caught all in the middle of it, and it wasn't fair. It really wasn't. And I was just glad that when it was all said and done,
he's doing cool shit.
Oh no, like I said,
isn't he in that Sons of Apollo thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He also went back to doing his own stuff too, which, you know, the one thing about Ron, I always said, dude is so talented that he can't be restrained.
Yeah. No, he's a pure music guy.
Seriously.
Do you know this guy at all, Howie?
I mean, I know of him from
peripherally.
afar. I've never met him. I just know his work.
Oh,
yeah,
I know his reputation, and you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, I found out that Jimi was working with him, and I was like, "That's an interesting little team," you know.
He's man. I would love to work with him again.
Hey, Jimi, here's a question from Eric Von Butts. Jimi, was there a big band that ever tried to grab you up? Did any, like in that kind of Bumblefoot type? No.
Nah. So
people are scared of you, bro.
No, you know, the weirdest thing, and so just to be real clear about stuff, the weirdest thing to me was how people perceived me as a player. Everybody always thought I was too busy. Everybody always thought I was unreachable. I'm the most reachable cat anybody can find me. But everybody was always like, oh man, I would have asked you to play on this, but I didn't think you would. Huh? You know, after the fact,
so you don't ask.
Yeah, so nobody asks. Word. Nobody asks.
That's great.
So no, nobody ever wants me. Nobody ever wants me. Nobody ever
Nobody wants you, Jimi.
Don't you want me, baby?
Don't you?
Even though he says nobody gives a damn. The peanut gallery back here.
I was working as a wait.
That was a cocktail.
That much is you.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, let's end it on a laugh. I want to thank you guys for coming on the show. Howie, that was Howie, my neighbor right up the street.
Yes.
I'll
Thank you,
see you when
Howie.
I go out for groceries, which is usually
Yeah,
when
exactly.
when I
But
run
thank you.
into
Thanks
you.
for letting me join. And Jimmy, thank you
Thank
for
you.
letting me join.
Nah, thanks for joining. Please, we got
It was great.
We gonna talk. We gotta talk.
Yeah.
We
All
had
right.
it was a really nice show. It was a really long show. We just chopped it up and it was a lot of fun. Jimmy, anybody you want to shout out on the way out?
Rick Skater, my partner in crime for 30 plus 40 years. I will never, if Rick's not playing bass, there is no Spyz. That's how that goes down. It's like left hand, right hand. We work like this. That's my man. Tony Lewis, South Bronx Bomber, beast on drums, part of the family, been a part of the family forever, killing it on the kit right now. Tobias Ralph, my ace, my dude, my man. Fish, Ronnie Drayton, Alex Bronson back here sitting in a cubby hole.
Yeah, thank you, Alex, and Alex in the cubby hole in Fort Lee. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
Howie, much props. Seriously.
Back at you.
Yes, no, seriously. Drew, thank you for this, man.
My pleasure, man. Let's keep in touch. And
Yes.
Howie, Roy says you are a wonderful addition. Anybody you want to shout
Roy,
out?
you are absolutely right. Howie was an absolute solid addition to this, man.
Yeah, I mean, just for the, in the moment here, Jimmy, I mean, it's funny like how long ago it was that we were doing stuff together professionally like that and spending all this time together. So, we had a lot of victories, and I'll never forget them. And it was just an amazing, amazing time, and to still be friends. And Drew, I don't think I really told you, but Jimmy is the reason that we had COVID, because I ran into him right before COVID. Like I hadn't seen him in forever.
In the
And I
Adidas
saw
store.
him at the Adidas store downtown. I was with my wife and my daughter.
Yep.
And like I run into Jimmy and Rick. And like a few days later, we're all shut down and COVID is everywhere. And nothing happened in the world for like 2 years.
That's because we bumped into each other at the Adidas store.
Right. And then we bumped into each other again at the Madball Super Spreader,
Yeah.
Oof.
And look,
Boy.
nothing but good things happen
Since then.
That certainly changed the world.
Yes.
All right, you guys, have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks
Yes.
again.
All right. See you.
Okay. Well, there you have it. Nice long show. It was great chopping it up with those guys. It's been the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Tune in on Sunday for our 150th show. Looking forward to it with Paris Mitchell-Mayhew. And I have a date with Destiny with this pineapple and my woman in Astoria, Queens. Right? Maybe I'll even bring the bag of lemons. That said, everybody, yes, thank you, D. It was great. Tim and everybody, Larry Kelly, everybody that hung in there. It was a nice long show, and it was great. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do something that I really love doing, and I appreciate your support. Until then, do good things, and good things will come to you.